wish they would all just disappear.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at? You did it again, didn't you? You left bananas. What's wrong with you? Why do you do that? I told you not to do it.
Dave, it's our calling card.
Calling card.
All the great ones leave their mark. We're the Banana Bandits.
You're sick. You know that? You're really sick.
Yeah, I'm not sick.
You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel.
What's up, motherfuckers, and welcome back to BananaLaser, the show that has to be peeled to be believed. My name is Matt, or if you're nasty, it's Wizzel, and with me is the guy who flew his Falcor here to the Laser Lounge, Dave Z. What the fuck is up, Dave Z?
Hey, yo, Wizzel. I don't even know what a fucking Falcor is, but...
You don't?
I'll take it. Nope. For once you stump
the never-ending story.
Yes.
Na 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 na.
I remember the song. Son of a bitch, and I haven't seen that movie in years.
Classic movie. Watch it with your little girl. It'll be a treat.
Good call.
For the both of you. Yeah.
Shit. And you know what? I haven't seen a... Boy, I could watch a movie 2 days ago and not remember it, so don't be surprised I don't remember the Falcor. Is that it? Falcor?
Falcor.
Right,
I think so. Maybe
right.
I'm remembering it wrong, but take a flight on the Falcor. So guys, we're back, and this show, we're not doing any full movie reviews. What we're doing today is just a little discussion on a list that came out on the website. Dave, why don't you tell them a little bit about this website and what this list is that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, well, I used to go, before Facebook, I used to go on the internet a lot, and just for horror news and shit like that. And, I used to go to Fangoria, then it got taken over by someone else, and then it was Fearworks, and, I bounced around. And then I discovered this one. It's called horror-movies.ca. It became my go-to place because they were putting up more news than anybody else. All the movies that are on the site, everybody votes on them, so they have ratings, and they come out with lists all the time. And top movie of 2013. Let's talk about the top 10 vampire movies, this and that. And it's a real good site. It's probably the biggest site in Canada, but I consider it probably the best horror site there is now. And I don't go to it much anymore because Facebook has kind of changed all that, but I belong to their Facebook page as well. Speaking of that, and the other day this article comes up, and it's the top 15 movies, best new horror movies. The only credentials these are all voted in by the the Facebook crowd and the crowd on their website, which is quite extensive. They're a big site, but it was voted on. The only credentials were they had to be the last 5 years. So basically from 2009 through 2013 so far, these are the movies that everybody voted on as, the top movies, and they made a top 15 list out of it.
Well, just flipping through this, there's no movies from 2013 in this, is there?
Yeah,
there is. Yeah, never mind. Oh, okay, yeah,
and
I'm fucked up.
Yeah. Is there two? I think there's two. Either way, we're not going to discuss them too greatly because the 2013 ones, we have the up-and-coming thing where we're going to be talking about a lot of the 2013 movies. So,
Yeah, we're basically going to do a super show where we recap all the, movies of the year and talk about our favorites and blah, blah, blah. That's, so we're going to save all those movies kind of for that. Let's get right into it. Let's start at the top of this list. Number 15, and that is the Fright Night remake.
I really hate to be the one to tell you this, but that guy, your neighbor,
Jerry.
yeah, he's a vampire.
That is a terrible vampire name. Jerry?
And that's the one starring Colin Farrell and the guy from Star Trek, whatever his name is. And I really actually enjoyed this movie. I know that I don't think a lot of people feel the same way.
Well, enough people put it on this list.
Yeah, I felt it was good, but I think it gets bogged down with bad CGI. You know, the changes that they made from the original, I felt were good. And I felt like the characters were more fleshed out than in the original. Don't get me wrong, I love the original Fright Night. I fucking love it. It's so much fun. But I thought this was a good remake. You know, it hits on areas that the other movie didn't hit on and stuff like that. But does that mean it's the best new horror movie, you know, in the past 5 years? I don't think I would say that at all. I guess that's why it's number 15. You know, it's very low on the list, but I don't think I would put it on this list at all. What do you think about it, Dave?
Well, no, I wouldn't put it on the list, and it was good. I'll give it that, but I 100% agree about the. It was kind of bogged down with the CGI, and that's a big turnoff for me. That CGI is done the right way. I can accept it, but sometimes it worked, but sometimes it didn't. And when it doesn't work in this movie, it's just glaring. It's just glaringly bad. There's a few scenes in it, and there's even CGI blood, and I'm a big proponent. It's blasphemy to me, CGI blood spurts. I hate that shit. There's no. It's lazy. It's lazy filmmaking. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of a cost issue, but at the same time, it just looks terrible. I think everybody can agree that it's very hard to get that aspect of a horror movie right. And most of the time, it doesn't work, and it takes you out of it. And I think we talked about this before. My thoughts on practical effects are, even though they look fake, it's something about it being filmed at the same time as the actors and it being caught in the same lighting and stuff like that. You can't get the same lighting effect on a computer. It just doesn't work, and something about your brain, it registers in your brain as being false. And so, yeah, I think a lot of that stuff kind of took you out of the movie, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's not. I'm just, you know, I really can't stand CGI blood. I can't stress it enough. It isn't even overused. I just kind of got onto it. But you do see it a couple times of gunshots and other things. But I really hate when they do it. It really bothers me when they use it in The Walking Dead, because they use it in The Walking Dead frequently. They have some of the best makeup effects people in the world on that show, doing amazing work with close-up zombie shots and everything they do. And they take the easy way out and fuck it up with CGI blood. That's the one thing. And my wife can even recognize it now. Like, I sit and I watch it with her and I go, "Did you see that?" She's like, "Yeah, CGI blood." I got her fucking, you know.
I forgive that a little more because it's a weekly show and it's like you got to go to film all that shit. And so I forgive that more. But a movie production, it's like, I know movie productions, they're only maybe 30 days or something like that. But still, you know, it's like you got to, let's do the best that you can, unfortunately.
But as far as this movie, there's something I have to say. I gotta drop a bomb, not a bomb, but you're gonna.
Oh shit!
You're gonna. you're gonna be right.
The banana bomb.
Exactly. You might be surprised at this. It's kind of like you and Carrie. And here's the most fucked up part. I've owned it. I've owned this movie. It's been sitting on my shelf for 10 years, and I have never watched the original Fright Night.
Really?
I know.
You see, this would be a good experiment because I think a lot of what Fright Night is a lot of nostalgia, because I think the lead actor is probably pretty bad, and some of the reasonings why characters do things don't necessarily make sense in that movie. So I think coming at it as an adult, you're going to poke more holes in it than, you know, when you're a kid, you don't care. You just see all the fun in it. You see the fucking gory effects, which it has a lot, you know, and and the really scary aspect of it, because I was scared of Fright Night when I was a kid.
Oh, shit.
And shit like that. So, Yeah, that would be interesting. You gotta tell me when you watch that. I want to find out what you think about it.
I'll update it and I will watch it. And I always avoided it because I knew it was something that I should see. People used to talk about it. You would come up, Fright Night, you heard it. And vampires aren't my favorite thing. And I'll probably say there's probably a dozen to a couple dozen real good vampire movies, and that's it. Same thing with werewolves. That's just my opinion. I don't get into all of it, but some are really good. Don't get me wrong. But I just kind of avoided it. I think that the title kind of sounded a little bit hokey, Fright Night, and then I heard it was comedy in there. So the mood never struck me. I was never in the right mood to put that movie in, and I missed it during the initial run somehow. And
the comedy is not over the top or anything. It's very subtle. It just complements the movie.
Okay, like this one, then. There's a little bit of this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like, hey, here's a joke. It's nothing like that. Okay. It's just very subtle kind of comedy. And, I would say that there's a couple things that make Fright Night, the original, great. One is the effects. I love the practical effects they use. They're all pretty cool. But it's the characters of Evil Ed. He's just so crazy. He's just super fun. And Peter Vincent. Yeah, he's the reason the movie is called Fright Night, because he's different than he is in the remake. In the original, he's a horror movie host like Elvira, or
Oh right, okay.
or anything like that. He hosts a show called Fright Night, and he used to star in movies as Peter Vincent, the Great Vampire Killer, and so. Charlie idolizes him, and he thinks he sees vampires, so he goes to him for information, and he's an old man. He says, "Look, kid, vampires aren't fucking real. You're an idiot." Blah blah blah. And over the course of a movie, he convinces him that they're real, and so his character is kind of what makes the movie for me. The lead of Charlie is not that great in the original, unfortunately.
Isn't it somebody? What's his name? Peter Vincent? Is that? Do I have the name correct?
Yeah, Peter Vincent is played by Roddy McDowall. Yeah, okay. He's a classic actor. Right. He's great. Yeah, he's definitely one of the highlights of the film.
He steals the show, correct? Basically.
Yeah,
okay.
And
the effects,
the vampire. I forget his name, but the vampire in the movie, he actually has a cameo in the remake, and you probably didn't notice it. Yeah, he's the guy who gets out of the car on the highway. And
okay.
It's kind of an older guy. Yeah,
he kind of looks like a vampire.
Yeah,
I thought that too.
Yeah, he's the guy in the original. That's the vampire. That was a nice little nod to have him in there.
Oh, that's cool. Well, speaking of the vampire, I think Colin Farrell was very good in this role. He was one of the highlights.
He was great.
Yeah.
I loved him in this. I loved his character. Made more sense in this movie than in the original. All the characters did to me. Evil Ed made way more sense in the remake than he does in the original. And
who's Evil Ed? The friend, the geeky friend that gets
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Right. Gotcha.
And in the remake, they're friends. They used to be friends.
Right.
They were friends when they're younger, and they've kind of grown out of it. Well, in the original, you just think they're friends, and that's it. So the complication in their friendship is never really fleshed out or anything like that.
Okay.
And so, that part is way better in the remake, definitely. But,
that's cool. But Colin Farrell, kick ass, definitely.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
Right? And I didn't know, and I'm not, I don't watch a lot of modern comedy, so I haven't seen a lot of Colin Farrell's work. There's really not a lot I can probably compare it to. But I heard he was in it, and I knew that he did comedy, so that was another reason I didn't watch it. But then seeing this, I would have never even known he did comedy. He just seems like a good serious actor to me.
Yeah, I think he's only done maybe like one comedy.
Oh, I thought he was a comedian.
No, no, he's mainly done action and thrillers and stuff like that. Serious
stuff.
What
do I know? Okay.
Yeah.
See how fucked up I am on horror movies? That's all I watch.
Yeah.
It's freaking crazy. But let me say one thing about this movie. Every chick in this movie is hot.
Yeah, even Charlie's mom, dude.
Yes. I was going to say
I'd love her.
Girlfriend to his mom. Yes.
Yeah.
Every chick, everyone you see, the teenage girl and her friends, those girls and the other girls, the dark haired girls that are down with Peter Vincent, they're hot.
Mm-hmm.
There was not an unattractive female in this entire movie. So that's another reason. That's one reason to revisit it. So it's good though. Good story. It's entertaining enough. The biggest thing for me, I really hated the way it ended because I got so excited at the end. Not excited, but it was refreshing to see when they were in the club and the guy and what's his name? Jerry, the vampire.
Yeah, Jerry. Mm-hmm.
Okay, bites into the main guy's girlfriend. Mm-hmm. It's like, holy shit, evil's gonna actually prevail somewhat. We're gonna see something that cool. And she turns, she fucking vamps out. And then the end was set up well. And then, now maybe I don't know everything about vampire lore, but I thought that once they're turned. But apparently,
well,
for the sappy ending, and because he killed the leader, they all turned back.
It's the Lost Boys kind of reality of vampires, where you can be a half vampire until your first kill, blah blah blah. So every kind of I'm the same way. I'm mild on vampires, and a lot of them use their own. They pick and choose what they want to use with their mythology and stuff like that. And that's okay, I guess. Zombies are the same way. You got the Romero zombies, and then you got like Return of the Living Dead zombies that can talk and stuff like that. And both are good and bad for, different things. So
I don't mind them. That I can understand different rules, and I can respect that. I just I was all set up for a bittersweet ending, where probably the kid was going to get away with it. He was going to kill the vampire, but lose his girlfriend, and the guy, and Peter Vincent has this big change of heart and comes in, and he ends up sacrificing his life for the greater good, and the whole thing, and just the kid was going to survive. And I would have been much more happier with that as the ending than the whole sappy thing, and they're all friends, and then all of a sudden they're hanging out in Peter Vincent's place, freaking out on the Vegas Strip, banging in the freaking thing and all that. And how about this? What happened to his mother? Just because she stabbed the guy with the Century 21 sign and she fell down, she's hospitalized the rest of the movie? Does that make sense to you?
I don't really remember that, but no, it doesn't make sense. So, who knows?
To my knowledge, that's what happened. She stabbed him, and then she collapsed right after. And then next thing you know, she's in the hospital the rest of the movie until the very end, when it's the big wrap up and everybody's happy, But whatever. I mean, not a bad movie. Take out the CGI and take out the sappy ending, and I'd watch it a few more times. But good story, and Colin Farrell stole the show, I think.
Yeah, no, he's definitely good as Jerry. Absolutely. So, yeah, okay, let's move down the list. The next one is number 14, and that is Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon.
There's that whole thing of making it look like you're walking, and everybody else is running their asses off.
That boy, he's going to be the best yet.
I go back and forth on this movie. I love the main character of Leslie Vernon, and I love how the movie is sort of two different movies put together. Or it's like at first it's a documentary style film, and then it goes into a slasher at the end. So you get the comedy kind of stuff in the beginning, and then you get your slasher stuff in the last 20, 30 minutes and stuff like that. But I just find it's really interesting. It's like a smart movie because it's a movie made today after 80 slashers already exist. I don't know if I necessarily like the fact that they live in a world where like Michael Myers is real. I don't know about that, but I just like how this movie reflects on 80s slashers as a whole and kind of comments on that. And you got this guy trying to do the exact same thing. He's basically built up a mythology of Leslie Vernon as a character and stuff like that, and he tries to maintain this idea of I'm an 80s slasher to his victims and stuff like that. And I thought all that was very well done in the movie. This movie, in the wrong hands, it could have been total garbage. But I thought this was really good, and and I'm glad this is on the list because I think it deserves a list. I know they've been trying to make a sequel to this for a while.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, and they've just been trying to get it funded. That's the whole thing. They just can't find funding for the movie. and stuff like that. But I would love to see a sequel with this character. I think you can do a lot with this idea, and and I would really like to see it because I really enjoy this movie. What do you think, Dave?
It's very clever. It's a clever idea, and it's actually executed pretty well. It's kind of like what they wanted to do with Cabin in the Woods in a way, in a matter of speaking, but it was done better here.
Yes, way better.
Yeah, way better for sure. But here's what you said about Jason and Freddie and Michael and that whole thing. I think they had to make them real, because if they just would have been horror movie characters, it would have seemed too corny. I'm going to try to be like an 80s slasher like in the movies. Nobody would have cared. I think as far as for the sense of the plot, it was kind of cool that they had those guys as being real and those guys as being the only iconic ones, because they even discussed it later when they hooked up with his old buddy. Well, what's his name from The Walking Dead? And he's talking about it. He's like,
Herschel's in it, whatever his name is,
right? And he's like, what those guys did was legendary. Before it was just this and that, and and what I just did my thing, and Leslie's going to do his thing. But those guys, they kept doing it over and over again. That's why they're held in high regard, and that's why they had movies made out of them. So I could see that I don't think it would have worked as well if they didn't make those people real. It just would have been like,
I agree.
Killer.
Yeah, I agree now that you say it. Well, okay, so by that idea, in this world that the movie exists, is there like slasher movies, like?
Well, there's
and
still
stuff
slashers.
like that.
It's just they were just made famous in the 80s, and those are the big three killers that they had to refer to. But there's still slasher movies. Shit.
Well, I mean, okay, but there's not a Friday the 13th series, and there's not a Nightmare on Elm Street series. Like in the world of the movie, those don't exist because they're real people, right? That's what they're saying?
Oh yeah, they don't exist. They really happened. That this Friday that this Crystal Lake killer kept coming back, and that this rumor about the nightmare thing here. Yeah, so on and on about that. But this was really cool because as slasher fans, we sit and watch this movie, and you're laughing throughout the movie, but it's not really comedy. It's more like it's like that's great, man, because you know that they're fans of it, and they're bringing things out into the open that we've seen in several of these slasher movies that we know to be kind of the rules. It kind of goes along the Scream and the Cabin in the Woods routine. But the way they executed it here, I think was perfect. It was very clever is the word for it.
Yeah.
Not fantastic, but cool. But you know what? Something about this movie, which is like the last movie, Fright Night, I fucking really don't like the way this one ended either.
Now, do you like how it turned into a slasher movie, or is it just the very end?
No, I knew it was going to turn into a slasher movie. And when that did happen, I wish it would have been better. I wish it would have been more gore, is one thing I could have said. But it was cool. It was a good plot, and there was a couple type twists, and it was interesting enough, really, from beginning to end. It was very cool, and they had the cameos, and good movie. It's definitely entertaining. Whether it deserves to be in the 15... It's one of those that I'm not sure. If I sit down and make my own list, I don't know if it would make it. Probably not, but I could see why it's here more than Fright Night. So I'm okay with it. But no, I mean the very, very end, and I really wanted that bitch to die. When she turned on him, because really, I'm not saying that she should support murder, but she's with him the whole way. They get to that one turning point when he gets pissed off at her. He says, listen, you're either fucking in this the right way or you're not. Either walk now with a clear conscience or stay with me, because this is what's going on. And she stays with him. Then when freaking, push comes to shove, and he's finally going to achieve this great moment that he's been talking the whole freaking thing about, him and his, his older buddy and his wife. He's worked his whole life for it. I'm not condoning it, but that's the focus of the movie, He gets there and she turns on him. And I didn't like that part at all. I really wanted her to die. I really wanted her to get fucking whacked. And he goes on his way at the end, like any other slasher, just like Jason, Freddy, and Michael. Leave it to be like, an ambiguous ending. It would have served the movie so much better instead of freaking him burning up in the barn and Freddy playing that guy coming by, Robert Englund coming by and saying, "Oh, he's just a man," and the fire burns in the barn, and that's the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you agree? Don't you think that was kind of a ripoff?
Yeah, I agree. But, this movie is not without its flaws. I think, like you said, all the nods to the stuff that make us smile is about how smart they are with slasher movies and stuff. That's the stuff that really gets us. And this movie rests solely on the guy who plays the lead. He is fucking awesome, man. I don't know this guy's name, but him doing this character, I want to see this guy do other shit because he is a great actor to me. I don't know what other people think, but I loved him. I thought he was great. I want to see this guy in other shit. Yeah.
Right, he pulled this role off fucking
big time.
Yeah,
If it was the right guy for the role, because if he couldn't do it, then this movie would be shit. I don't care if you had Robert Englund or anybody else in the movie, doing cameos. It would have been not good. He carried the movie definitely. No matter how smart the script was or anything like that, his performance puts it over the top for me.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, he's great, and it's a good movie. It really is, and I recommend. Everyone should definitely. It's one of those movies that everyone should watch and just make their form their own opinion on it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you're a slasher fan, fucking get on it because all that stuff with the setting up the lead girl in the brick and I'm doing this and he's explaining so many things that we've seen in all the slasher.
I know,
films, right?
I loved it.
Right? How about the nod? I don't know if you noticed it. I noticed it last night. I watched it last night. It was the second time I've ever watched it. I watched it once like 3 years ago and I didn't even finish it. And last night I watched the whole thing beginning to end. And did you realize the music that's playing on the radio when he's putting on his makeup, getting ready for the last night, and what it's from? It's really old music. Well, the reason I asked you, because I know you're as big of a fan of the movie as I am, but it's the fucking music at the end of The Shining. That fucking old music.
Really?
And you know the song, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, no shit.
I picked up on it instantly. I said, and I put the volume up. My wife was with me. She's seen the movie several times as well, The Shining. I go, do you recognize that music? She's like, no. Then I put it up a little louder because it's real faint in the background, but my ears have heard that song so many times. It was like a dog hearing something. We perked it up. I'm like, wait a minute. And then I put up the sound, I blasted it. I go, you hear that? She's like, yeah. I go, do you know what that is? I go, that's The Shining. She's like, oh, yeah. And fucking, I thought it was so clever just putting that little thing in there.
That's great.
A nod that only so many are going to pick up on,
I think that word describes this movie perfectly. It's very clever.
Yeah, man.
Because lots of movies these days try to do, and the next movie that we talk about too, but lots of movies try to do an idea like this where it's meta-knowledge of movies and horror movies, and it's like, well, what can we do now with that knowledge already? And this one, I thought did it really well. It's got some low points and stuff like that, but it's very clever in how it's written and how it's made. So.
And you know what? I looked the guy up. He hasn't done shit.
Really? That's a shame.
Yes, his name is Nathan Bassell.
Oh, that's right.
B-A-S-E-L, and he's done different things, but a couple TV shows. He only has like 16 roles: A Cold Case, The District, Without a Trace.
Really?
One episode, he does TV, just like a regular actor, but he's in the editorial department. Now, he's involved in Storage Wars and shit like that.
Huh. Weird.
Post-production coordinator. I think he's moved on to freaking...
From acting.
Yeah, but there's a rumor here. It says B4TM with a bunch of question marks next to it on IMDb.
That's the sequel.
Yes, there you go. And how about the guy's name being Doc Halloran? Robert Englund. Halloran, the last name of the fucking
yeah, that's right. See, I haven't seen this in like 2 years. But yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So that was kind of cool. And when we see freaking Kane Hodder outside the Elm Street house for that 1 second, excuse me, sir. And he turns in there.
Yeah. I saw this movie a couple years ago in a theater, and it was the director. He did like a Q&A, and what it was is that I think he was just shopping the movie around the country, and he's trying to get buzz, for people to, get behind a sequel. And he's trying to, get money through Kickstarter and stuff like that. And I definitely donated some money to it.
Nice.
And I don't know, I'm sure, Kickstarter campaigns are really short, so I'm sure that came and went. But still, it was a good time to hear the director's thoughts on the movie. It was a small crowd of maybe 10 people. It's kind of funny, but to see it in the theater and to have, anytime you get to see a movie with the cast or crew or anything like that, it's just a great experience. And so
it is cool.
Yeah, it was definitely fun.
Well, where did you see this at?
It was here in St. Louis. It was like some midnight, not a midnight showing, but it was some special screening. And it was a couple years ago. My girlfriend and I went, and it was the first time she had seen the movie. And it was a lot of fun. And I think I had already donated money at that point. And what's cool about Kickstarter is, you donate at different levels, and everybody gets a kickback, and you can buy a DVD, or, get it signed, but it goes all the way up to getting killed in the movie. Like if you give them like $10,000 or something like that,
right.
they'll fly you to the filming and they'll have you get murdered in the film. And there was actually a guy in my audience of 10 people who did that. And the director pointed him out. He's like, and this guy right here, stand up, dude. If we get this movie made, you're gonna get killed in it because you donated X amount of money. Yeah.
So what happens if the movie's not made? He's out $10,000.
No.
Okay.
If the movie's never made, then you get all the money back.
That's the Kickstarter. I thought that's how it was. I just wanted some fucking clues.
Yeah, because they have to actually get. They set a goal, and then they got to meet that goal. And if they don't meet the goal within a certain time frame, then that's it.
Gotcha.
Yep. Okay, so let's move on to number 13, and that's another kind of meta horror movie, and that is Tucker and Dale versus the Evil.
Just smile and laugh.
Okay.
Do it.
All right. You guys going camping?
If you guys haven't seen this, you should. I believe it's streaming on Netflix, but it's a
it is.
It's a tale of it's a tale that's flip-flopped. Most of the time you got the hillbilly killers, stalking the kids in the woods. Well, this one you see it from the other angle, and you see it from the hillbillies, quote unquote, angle, but they're not killers. They're just guys who are trying to go camping and go hunting and get drunk and shit. And all these fucking teenagers come out and they just start dying in miraculous fucking ways. And it makes for great comedy, but it's very well written, and I will say extremely well acted by the two leads, and it makes it really enjoyable. To me, this movie really falls apart in the last 30 minutes. But everything leading up to that and some of the gore scenes, some of the comedy is just great. I really enjoy this movie. I need to rewatch it. What do you think about this movie, Dave?
I also need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
I saw it one time only. And
Yeah.
It was when it first dropped on Netflix, whenever 5-6 months ago, whatever it was. It dropped on Netflix, and I had heard about it prior to it coming there. And I watched it there, and I had a great time with it. And now I don't remember it falling apart in the third act, but I do remember that I haven't gone back too fast to revisit it. So
I gotta think it's that last half of the movie, because
must be.
The asshole kid, he basically becomes the evil. He gets like burned and shit. Then he starts attacking these two guys, Tucker and Dale, and when that shit's happening, I'm just like, okay, I'm out of it. The fun is gone, out of the movie. It's just not fun anymore. The fun was seeing all these kids be scared of these two guys, and then all of a sudden accidentally killed himself in a fucking, hilarious way. By the time you got one of the kids trying to take revenge or what have you on Tucker and Dale, it fucking loses steam, unfortunately.
Maybe that's what it was, because I really do want to go back and watch it, because I'll tell you, I watched it the one time, I remember it ending, and my friend and I watched it, and it ended, and we were like, that was fucking pretty good. It was definitely pleased with it.
Yeah.
And now we were going to put together our show on the unholy trinity of horror comedies. And I remember when we were sitting down to do it, which is, I guess that's going to be out eventually, guys. That's the other one we had in the bank. So, spoiler, right?
That'll probably come out after this one. Yeah, I think we'll put that out this one.
So, but I remember sitting down and thinking about what I was going to do, And this one, even though I had only seen it one time, it popped in my head. But it was kind of like the Evil Dead thing when we did the remake, the Unholy Trinity of remakes, where I only seen it once, and I wouldn't have felt comfortable doing it just yet. I needed a second viewing, so I didn't. And I still need a second viewing. And I'd like to go back and watch it again and see what it was. But I remember having a lot of fun with it. And I remember laughing my ass off the first hour. And horror comedies aren't really my thing. It has to be a certain mix, you know? And I'm sure I elaborate much more on it on the horror comedy show we did. But yeah.
I think this one is definitely more comedy first. It just also has a ton of gore in it, which makes it more like maybe like a Reanimator kind of fun movie where it's like, it's not scary by any means. It's just fun kind of, and there's crazy gore going on in it. It's maybe something like that.
And it's action packed. It probably just grabs you right at the beginning. It's full of action, and the gore is probably good. Is what sells it.
Yeah.
If it was shitty gore, I wouldn't like. I don't care how fucking funny it is or how gory it is. If the gore doesn't look right to me, you know, it's just not going to work. It's like well Dead made. Alive. Like Dead Alive doesn't do it for me because the gore looks shitty and the comedy is shitty. So that's my opinion on that. But to be fair, I'm going to have to go back again and watch this, and maybe we'll talk about it on another show. We'll both watch it again or something and revisit it. But
one joke that I fucking love is when one of them, he gets stung by bees, and then he goes back to the cabin and he's just pouring beer on his face. Like, dude, like, beer is the solution for everything. Anything that ails you, just put some beer on it. Yeah, you're fine.
You know, it is just kind of my comedy, because that kind of shit's always made me laugh, where an innocent person is getting his ass kicked, but it's done in a humorous way.
Yeah.
That's just my type of comedy. That just speaks to me. So, that's what I remember about this movie, that these poor bastards were getting involved in situations that they couldn't help with. They couldn't help it. And fucking people were thinking that they were the killers, but it wasn't them. And
right.
They were trying to save the day, but they couldn't, because they kept other people kept, like, you know, fucking getting in on them and blaming them. So it was pretty entertaining, but I need a second view to say. Does it belong in the top 15? I don't know, but
I would put it there because a lot of movies strive to have this kind of flipped-flopped view of the genre. Very much so like Behind the Mask with Leslie Vernon, that flick. You know, it's like they try to be smart about it and not just have a straightforward, you know, kind of horror movie. I think this one actually pulls it off. I don't like the last 30, 20 minutes, whatever, but everything leading up to that I feel is so strong and just so much fun. You know, it's like, it's not terrifying or anything like that. It's just fun, you know, and so that's why I think it belongs on this list, definitely.
Right on. Well, I'm going to watch it. I was going to try to squeeze it in today. I ran out of time. I really wanted to watch it before we did the recording. Yeah, I ran out of time, but it's next up. I'm going to watch it very soon because I enjoyed it, but I gotta it left my memory, so I gotta see what was so good about it again. But.
Yeah. Well, let's move down. This next one made a big splash. What was it? Maybe 2 years ago now. Shit. And that is the found footage anthology VHS. Lots of mixed feelings about this movie because it does a lot within one movie, I think. One, it's a found footage movie. You know, lots of people are hot or cold on that. And then two, it's got 5 different stories in it, so some are inevitably going to be better than the others. And with an anthology, it's like, well, does the best story make the movie overall good? Does the worst story make the movie overall shitty? You know, it's really hard to find that balance. I think this movie did it really well. I mean, I only like probably 3 of the stories at best out of here, but 2 of them really knocked my socks off, and so for that, I think it's done really well. And I just happen to be a fan of found footage. When it's done right, it really puts you in the mindset of the character that you're following and stuff like that. So I think most of them were done well, and so I think this movie definitely deserves to be on this list. What do you think, Dave?
Here's what I'll say. I love found footage and I love anthology. So this speaks my language.
Yeah.
And
but you're gonna say a but? Oh.
There is gonna be a but. Hold on. There's two buts.
Ass to ass.
Right. Oh shit. VHS. There's three. Like you said, I'm trying to remember. I remember I really liked the first one.
You got the succubus story. You got the honeymoon story, which I was really soft on. That's the Ty West story.
Was that the one where they just go and they're camping? Not camping, but they're doing rock climbing and shit.
They're driving cross country,
and they go in the hotel and she just turns on them.
Yeah.
I kind of liked that one. A lot of people did talk shit about it, so I didn't mind. Here's my only thing. I thought the second one was better, so I thought that one should be on the list instead of one. But this one
I think the second one, I think the second one is way better.
There you go. See,
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only reason why I'm second guessing this being on the list, because I thought the second was better, but this one you have to give it props because it started when it first came out for what it was. Mm-hmm. Very good concept of them going into the house and the wraparound and finding all the tapes there. All these VHS tapes, and the way it's filmed and that little blue screen in between, very retro for people, for us that grew up with VHS and VHS players and whatnot. So for that reason, I could see it being there because this is the one that started it all. So I guess you want to give it its props. But overall, the second one, in my opinion, was a better movie. So
yeah, I think so too. This movie, what it did was it took the new style of filmmaking. Or the new kid on the block, and that's kind of found footage. That's really kind of the new, what's hip, I would say, maybe. And then it took kind of an older style of horror movie, and that's anthology. People haven't really done those really lately, and it kind of mashed them up. It was like best of old, best of new kind of thing. And so I think for that idea alone, it's a winner. It came through. It took both those ideas and made it work in a good way overall.
Yeah, you know what was good? That one about the there was an entity in the house and they were talking over. It was the boyfriend and the girl and her boyfriend. And
where they're Skyping back and forth. That one fucked me up, dude.
Isn't it good?
Because I still don't know at the end what was going on. And it's like ghosts, or maybe it's aliens, and stuff like that. But just the fact that this whole thing goes back years and years and years of this guy kind of being with, so to speak, with this girl, and them wiping her memory, and all this, him breaking her arm and shit like that to get the. Dude, that one fucked me up. I really enjoyed that one too. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, and what about the last one, the Halloween?
The last one, great. Boom, hands down I think that's why you like this movie, because it starts out with the bang.
Yeah.
With the first one, and then it ends so fucking high with the last one. It's ridiculous. Ridiculously good. The last one was so smart and so fun, and the special effects of the house transforming looked fucking great.
Yes, it did. Son of a bitch. So what am I missing? There's the one. Now it's coming back.
The honeymoon.
Which I was okay with. A lot of people didn't like it, but I was okay. It had that dark ending. And
the Skype one. The one, and I know you're not going to like it. It's the Slasher in the Woods one. And that's the one where it's got all the digital, the killer can't be filmed or something. Or he can be filmed. That's the only way you can kind of see it. It's kind of...
wait a minute. She had lost some friends there prior to being there,
and she brings them back to drag out this killer.
I was okay with that.
Really?
I think I remember it being quick or something. I don't know.
I was soft on that one, but
you know what? Upon second thought, I might like it as much as two. I'm thinking about, because I saw them both real close together. I saw one, and then I saw two 2 months after. I waited a long time to see one for some reason. I think I burned it. And I was waiting to watch it. I wanted to watch it with my brother and my friend because were around the same age, and we grew up in the VHS generation, and I thought it'd be a good movie for us all to watch together. Well, it was too hard to get us all together. We worked different shifts, so finally I just broke down. I watched it with my friend, and then 2 months later, part 2 came out. So I think because they both came out, or not came out, but I saw them both so close to each other, I kind of confuse them. Mm-hmm. So honestly, maybe it is just as good. Maybe I don't even have a preference. I don't know.
I like the second one better because it's a little shorter. It kind of trims the fat. The through line of the characters watching the tapes, I liked it better in the second one. It's still pretty flimsy, but overall I liked it a little better. You know. Is it the same guys who did the haunted house one in part 1? The same? Did those guys make? Because it's like a team of directors or something like that. Yeah. Did those guys make the Safe Haven in part 3? That's the commune one.
I don't know, but that's the best one in this.
It's the best one. Yeah, that one makes the movie. Well, some people say the Alien one, but to me, it's Safe Haven. That one's fucking. That one makes the fucking. Those guys need to make a fucking feature movie.
Right?
Yeah, they should do something.
If it's the two of them, I don't know if they're responsible for those two, but that's a good question. Yeah. I'm going to look that up. But the second one, you know what it was about the second one? They were more ingenious with the different styles of the cam, where I think it was a little more basic in part 1. Maybe not. Am I right or am I wrong?
The second one...
They had the kid with the eye.
Yes.
That was kind of a cool thing. And then the other one was
the helmet cam.
Yeah, when you saw through the zombie's perspective. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of clever. I don't know. Yeah. I think they thought a little bit more about the way they were going to do the cameras in the second one. But I don't know. I think I'm going to have to watch them both back to back and just make up my mind. Maybe I liked them equally. Maybe.
I also liked in part 2 how it's sort of, but not really, built upon the mythology, so to speak, of all these VHS tapes, and that this kid was watching these tapes to get some kind of I don't know. Yeah, he was trying to expand his mind or trying to get to the other side or of something. There's something going on. And they're just, I feel like they're going to keep making these movies for a while. And they're just going to kind of keep elaborating on that. I like that in part 2. I feel like it's going to get pretty terrible with upcoming sequels and stuff like that. But
it might.
Who knows? Yeah, who knows what they'll do. But I think both of these movies, and it's only the first VHS, but I think both these movies deserve to be on the list. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on down. That was number 12. Let's go to number 11. And this one is Steakland.
Then the world woke up to a nightmare.
Welcome to Steakland, kid. Get your boots on. Your gun's ready.
This, if you guys haven't seen this, it's a post-apocalyptic vampire flick, and this movie is fucking awesome.
It's a good movie.
It's got great effects. It's got a fucking badass lead character that you just want to emulate in your everyday life. He is so awesome. He is the epitome of badass. When you think about a badass character like Clint Eastwood and Dirty Harry or something like that, this guy is fucking it, man. You just stick with this guy and you're going to live through anything. I love it. Also, it had, it's funny reading their description right here. It says starring Danielle Harris. Fuck this. She's barely in this movie, and that's what I love about it.
I agree. Yes.
If they made this movie now, she would be like the lead, and it would be a terrible movie, but they took her and she's just in a background kind of character, and it's great. You think the whole time that she's going to hook up with the kid, but they never do, and I'm like, okay, that's good. They don't have to make it, they don't have to always hook up and shit like that. And, this seems more real. It felt like a very real kind of movie if something like this was going to happen. So yeah, I love this movie. This movie definitely deserves to be on the list.
Yes, it does. I'm all done. I confess, the first time I saw this was the other day.
Yeah.
So somehow it got by me, and it's on Netflix. So I was like, yeah, of course I'm gonna watch it now, you know. But yeah, I don't know how it got by me, but I remember I've heard it come up in conversation, but whatever. It really impressed me. 10 minutes in, I knew I was gonna like it. I was like, you know what? I could just tell by the feel of it and the look of it. This is gonna be a good movie. And here's what I don't get. Why does a movie like this not come to theaters? Why can't people go see a horror movie like this in the theaters and fucking be blown away by it? You know, that's a good horror movie instead of half the shit that we get out there. You know?
Yep. It's all a numbers game. You know, who picks up the movie, you know, and shit like that. It's just, that's all it is. Unfortunately. I like what it says though here. It says Stakeland is I'm sorry, I can't talk tonight. Stakeland is an outstanding source material that is begging to be turned into a series on AMC. I agree. I mean, that would be kind of like a spin-off of The Walking Dead because it's kind of the same universe. It's just vampires instead of zombies. But
true. And the way the vampires act they're unlike vampires we've seen before.
Very unique. Very unique. Yeah. And
they're different type of vampires, and they're a little bit zombified in a way, the way they behave. Mm-hmm. You know, they're different, but it's great. I mean, there's some great kills in it, and you care about the characters.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing about this movie is it's a character piece, you know, set in this world, this fantastical world, but it always takes itself seriously. Yeah. It's never crazy or anything like that. And so it's because of these characters that you follow through the movie that makes it ultimately good. You know, you care about these characters, you want them to succeed, and you understand their plight and the shit that they're going through every day. And it's like I don't know if you've seen it. I think it's on Netflix now, but the movie The Road with Viggo Mortensen. It really reminds me of that because that's a post-apocalyptic movie that is fucking serious as shit. Really? And yeah, it doesn't deal with like monsters or anything like that. It just deals with other human beings and the fact that there's almost no life left on Earth, but there's people that turn to cannibalism and stuff like that. And it's a really intense, serious movie. But it's very similar in tone to this. And this one's a little bit more fantastic with, you know, vampires, but that, you know, I think there are two movies that are akin to each other.
That's cool. Well, you know what? They kind of touch upon that in this about fearing other people because when they get into the whole feud with that cult in that situation, you know, that's something that would really happen, I think, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Couldn't you totally see that shit going down?
Oh, the breakdown of society would be so quick. And, you know, once you're out of the comforts of normal society, you're going to do whatever it takes to survive, you know? Yeah. It's like once you can't go to the supermarket and get food, well, yeah, you might fucking kill somebody to get a sandwich. Yeah. You don't fucking know. That's just human nature, yeah. It's a big slant on religion and politics too. Not overly done. Not really so much with politics. A little bit they say things. There's one line when they come in the bar and he goes, the guy says to him, puts his glass down and he says, "No religion, no politics in this bar." Says, no problem. You know? I said, that's great. What a good attitude to have, you know? But but those guys, when they have that cult, that would happen. You would see guys get like religious fanatics because it's post-apocalyptic and freaking do this, and the one guy's trying to freaking start his shit and everybody's opposed to him and they're trying to run like that whole section of the country and then it ends up being really cool because later on that guy does get blessed by freaking evil or what have you because he becomes this mutant vampire thing and they had that showdown at the end. So it's really cool, and it's a coming of age situation with the boy because the guy saves him, mister, and he trains him, shows him all the ways, and, it's a whole rite of passage thing. And then they're driving through, and anytime he goes somewhere, he has to show people that how many vampires he killed. He shows them the teeth and shit, and they let him in. And that's cool. I could totally... It seems like it's a true-to-life situation. It seems to be like what would really happen in this kind of world. And I don't know who, again, same as The Rise with Leslie Vernon or whatever. I don't know who this lead actor is, but he is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Have you seen him in anything else?
He didn't look familiar. No.
Fuck. I don't know. He needs to do more shit because he's awesome.
Yeah.
He's just, you can tell that he is like Mr. Normally. You know, you can tell he's not really acting that
like
much.
Danny Trejo, right?
Yeah, you can tell that's who this guy really is. He's just like a badass, kind of cool, you know, kind of old Hollywood kind of guy or something, you know? Yeah, I want to see more from this guy.
Yeah, I do too. And you know what? There's one thing about this movie that it swerved me in a good way. Where I remember when they get to that one place and it's kind of like a safe haven. They've been trying to get there. They get their radio transmission and they get there and the military's there. And the first thing the guy tells them is, "You surrender your weapons here. When you leave, you'll get them back." Okay. As soon as that happens and he walked in, I thought it was going to be a situation which we've seen many times.
Yeah.
More recently in The Walking Dead with like the governor. That's what I thought. Did you think that was going to happen?
Oh, I
too?
instantly thought that. Instantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, but it didn't happen.
No.
It turns out they were attacked by some religious zealots and they dropped the vampires on them. And it was tragic because that little girl passed away and the old lady passed away. They just befriended them. They were having a good time. You know it wasn't going to last. But I thought it was going to end because of, you know, the people on the inside. But in fact, it was enemies. And then the shit hit the fan and they all took off. And you know, it was kind of moving. It was sad. There was some sad moments there, but I was glad it wasn't typical. You know?
Yeah, it's not typical.
Yeah.
It's an actual it gets emotions out of you. I think that's why this film resonates, is because it gets at you. It's not just a fun, you know. It's not Tucker and Dale versus the evil. You know, it's got some emotional core at this movie with the relationships. You know, especially with the kid. And Mr., you know, and stuff like that. So, yeah, it really tugs at your heartstrings, I think. Even in this dark, you know, tonally dark, you know, kind of movie. It's good. Good movie.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. Yeah, definitely recommended. It's on Netflix. Watch it. You know, anybody fucking get on it if you haven't seen it because it's a good all-around movie. I really can't see telling a horror fan to watch this movie and they're going to come back and say they were disappointed. I couldn't imagine that.
No, I don't think you're a horror fan if you don't like this movie. Maybe, you know, even, you know, I could see why people be like, well, I don't like vampires, you know. Well, fuck, look at it from this angle. You know what I mean? It's got so much more going on than just the vampires. It's about a relationship between this man and a boy. It's about trying to survive, you know, in a world that's moved on. You know, it's got so much other things going for it, and it just knocks it out of the park.
Yep, and the other characters, the nun comes in for a little bit, that situation with her, and then Danielle Harris being pregnant, and then the soldier, and that whole thing, and you meet other people and you care for them, and you know, it all in a short movie. You know what I mean? And they accomplish a lot. It's a really well made movie. It should definitely be on the list.
Yeah, definitely deserves to be here. So that was number 11. So that's 15 through 11. Before we move on, guys, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back with the rest of the list. Yeah.
Ho, 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 ho. Ho, ho, ho. Open up your door. I'm Santa Claus, and guess what, y'all? I got something to show. I came to bring some Christmas spirit. I got a big bag now, guess what's in it? Something for the rich and something for the poor. So Merry Christmas and ho, ho, ho.
Ho, 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 Merry Christmas, my foot. I'ma tell you what Santa really put under my so-called tree, but in reality, look like nothing but a decorated pole to me. Man, you talk about a tree, it makes me wonder, cause I never had a tree to put anything under. If I ever did look up and get a tree, there was never anything under it for me.
Man, I don't know what y'all talking about, cause when I come to your town, I just get chased out. I thought you would be happy to see Santa Claus, but all you'll say is stick 'em up and give me yours.
You're lucky all you did was get ripped off, and next time you keep your big fat up north, because after my last few Christmas nights, if I see you around my neighborhood, I'm shooting on sight. And I ain't even got a chimney for you to come down, so ain't no need for you to be coming around, cause the last so-called Santa that came in with a sack wasn't giving out presents, he was taking them back.
Man, y'all should be glad that I didn't quit, cause I'm getting too old for this Santa Claus. Y'all think I'm getting presents made for free? I gotta pay them bells, and ain't nobody paying me.
You big fat whale, you might as well quit, cause I can name 100 presents that I didn't get. And if I did get a present, it'd be a hand-me-down. Yo, I got this for Christmas, now how that sound?
It sounds good to me, cause I'm about to freeze. You wanna see something? Look at the bottom of these. Me and my brothers can't go out at the same time, cause the coat that's theirs is the coat that's mine.
Man, I know one thing, y'all better get off my neck and wait till you get your welfare check. Go on down to the office and stand on the line. Better hurry up, see, I got mine.
Jingle, jangle, jingle for the pole. And once you get your welfare check,
y'all can kiss my mistletoe. Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho.
All right, fuckers, we are back, and we are continuing the, Horrormovies.ca's list of the 15 best new horror movies in the past 5 years. So far, it's been a pretty good list. There's really only been one that I've been kind of iffy about, but it's been pretty good so far. So, moving on with number 10, and that is a foreign movie called I Saw the Devil. And I'm not super keen on movies that come out of this part of the world. I'm not even sure which country this came out of.
It's Japan.
Is it Japan? Okay. Mm-hmm. But this movie blew my fucking socks off, dude. I don't even know if I would call this a horror movie, but it definitely is horrific, so I guess maybe I would. It's just not in the traditional kind of sense of a horror movie. I think it feels more like Silence of the Lambs kind of horror movie to me. But this movie was so intense and so engaging with the characters. I fucking loved it, and I don't even watch that many movies like this. It's not that I have a thing against subtitles or anything like that. It's just that I know there's going to be, there's just a difference culturally, and so there might be something missing with some of these movies. But this one, I think fucking nailed it. I think it's screaming for, Hollywood to remake this like they're remaking Old Boy or something like that.
Yeah. That's weird.
But what do you think about I Saw the Devil, Dave?
Oh, I fucking love it.
It's fucking great, isn't it?
Yeah, I love the J-horror. And you know what? I'm wrong. Now that it was what's his name? The guy that wrote Tale of Two Sisters. Soon or Kuhn. That's Korea. That's Korea.
Okay, I was thinking it was from Korea. Okay.
Yeah, Kim Ji-woon.
Okay, yeah.
And he also did A Tale of Two Sisters, which is another movie I strongly recommend, which is another borderline horror movie. I still call it a horror movie, but I know what you're saying about this, and I would say the same thing about that. But yeah, fuck, I love it, and I love Asian horror, and it's probably Asian horror is right after American for me, and then Italian.
Yeah, it's done. Yeah, especially this movie. It's like,
oh man,
it's done so well. It's like, and it's crazy to me because there's such crazy, horrific shit in this movie of violence and stuff like that. But at the same time, some of the the camera work and the look of this movie is so fucking bonkers, insane, awesome.
Yeah.
It's like here in America, I don't know if I'm trying to think of an example of a movie that is done so fucking well, but also is such a hard R. It's hard to think of something. And that's why I went to Silence of the Lambs, because this is basically a cop chasing a bad guy. It's not your traditional kind of killer kind of movie. So yeah, that's why it makes me think of that. Now, the guy who plays the villain, he was he the guy in Old Boy? Is that guy?
Oh,
I get a lot of these guys mixed up. But I'm a huge fan of Old Boy, and that's getting, that's already been remade and is coming out very soon. It might be out by the time this gets released, but but yeah, I think that might be the same guy.
I think it is. As a matter of fact, I think you're right. I think it is.
Yeah, and that guy, if it is, he's a great. Either way, the villain in this movie, which is also debatable because this movie really blurs the lines as to who's the bad guy, because the fucking hero, quote unquote, is doing some insane shit. Now,
who wouldn't? Well,
yeah.
Pardon me. I shouldn't say who wouldn't. I should say that I might. That's a better way to say it. If I was in his shoes, there's a good chance I would do that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's I could think that way,
It's a super fun idea. If you guys haven't seen it, this killer kills this guy's wife, right? And then he basically leaves the force to extract revenge on this guy. And what he does is he beats him within an inch of his life, and then lets him go, only to catch up with him and then do it again. And he wants to do this for the rest of his life, seemingly. And right. That, to me, is such a great idea of revenge. But at the same time, like I said, it blurs the lines. This guy, he's probably taking it just too far. He should just kill him, and then that should be it, or whatever. But he wants to keep perpetuating this revenge over and over again. And how this all plays out is just fucking, it's a great movie. It's just masterful.
It is. It's incredible. I love it. It's fucking gory. It's a great premise. It's engaging right off the bat. I love it. And I, like I said, I naturally have a flavor for Asian horror movies. So I fell right into this movie, and I've only seen it once. And since I've seen it once, it's a long movie. It's like 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Yeah.
Right. I bought the unrated Blu-ray, and it's in the package still. I'm waiting for the right day, and I'm gonna sit down and watch it again. And I can't wait to watch it because it blew my mind. But that's a good title for it. I Saw the Devil, because in essence that's what happens. This guy comes face to face with evil, and in a matter of speaking, he becomes.
Yeah, it's so smart. Yeah, I love.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love characters, and this kind of goes with. I don't know if you're up to date on The Walking Dead, Dave, but the governor is back, and they really do a great job of making him sympathetic again, and I love characters that are. They're not just evil or they're not just good. Nobody is just like that. We all have the push and pull, within us. And that's why, I love it. That's why these characters are great.
It is great. And that thing with the governor, for some reason, the first 5 minutes, I watched it this morning with my wife, the first 5 minutes in, just because he was recounting something in his head. I know I'm going off topic, but I'll keep it quick. He says something in his head. And he says, there's a conversation. Someone asked him what happened, where he was, and was it a nice place? He said, yes. And he said, what happened? He goes, well, the guy that ran it messed it up.
Yeah.
He right away, I heard in his voice that he was taking responsibility. I told my wife, I said, you know what? The governor, I think, is going to do a turnaround in the show now. I said, kind of like what's his name? Like Michael Rooker's character did. I go, I have a feeling something like that's going to happen. And I got to tell you, by the end of that show, I honestly, it seems strange to say, probably because I have a little girl that was the governor's age. That situation, it was probably the most emotional episode of that show ever.
Yeah.
For me personally, it really tugged at the heartstrings for me, because the whole thing with, he lost his daughter. He thought he was doing the right thing, and he lost control and flipped out, and the show. And then he bonds with the other girl, this little girl. And then then he has to kill her grandfather that way, and then she's afraid of him. And then I tell you, what an episode. It's off topic, I'm sorry, but it really blew my mind. Yeah, it really got me this morning. I was like, you know what? That was very emotional. It was
and that goes with this movie. I mean, not that the villain in this movie you kind of sympathize with him, but you never feel like he's redeemable. But then you see something like this in The Walking Dead, and you're like, fuck, I think I fucking feel sorry for this guy now, who you've seen murder dozens of people,
right?
Innocent people, just out of rage, and
rage.
Yeah, that's for Cody, that's what one of the great things about this movie is, the blurring of the lines, and not everybody is just 100% good, and not everybody's 100% evil. You do feel bad for the villain in this movie because he's like, man, how the fuck did this guy find me again? And then it's like, it's like, yeah, fuck, this guy's just perpetually beating the shit out of you over and over again, and yeah, it's crazy. It's just good. And you know what?
That house, you know.
Oh God!
That other guy, and they're both different. They're both serial killers, and they're both scumbags.
But then this guy is like,
know?
This guy is like, okay, this guy is a fucked up guy, and that I think that's to make you sympathize with the villain. Even more, because you see somebody who's even more evil,
right.
And then it's like, well, this guy isn't that evil because this guy is evil. You know what I mean? So,
I think it was cool that these type of people hang out together. They're just
oh my God,
degenerates of the world, devils themselves. You know, they're just different kind of devils. All of them. You know, and the hero becomes a devil himself before it ends.
Yeah, great movie.
It is a great movie, and fucking once again. And you'll probably agree with me. It belongs in the list and recommended. You know,
highly recommend this.
Yeah.
And this is, I believe, is on Netflix too. So if you guys haven't watched this, you should. I mean, if I know some of you might be fearful of subtitles, but man, I'm sorry, but you're missing out on some great films if that's the only reason you're not watching this. So
yep.
Let's move on down to number 9, and that is. American Mary.
Have you ever heard of body modification?
Took me by surprise.
Starring Catherine Isabel. Yeah, this movie was quite surprising. Now, did this movie come out in 2013? That came out this year, did it?
Yeah, well, I know it just dropped on Netflix like freaking 3 months ago, so very well made. And that's the Soska sisters. That's, you know, everyone fucking talks about them, and this is a good movie they did, but you know, we can't go too much into it yet.
Yeah, so let's not elaborate too much on that. So moving on to number 8, and that is a Halloween favorite.
Yeah.
And they really misspelled it here.
Oh, they did on that thing, didn't they?
It's trick or treat.
During the spookiest time of the year, there are a few guidelines all ghosts and goblins should follow. Always stay on sidewalks. Never go to a...
And they spelled it O-R. I mean, I don't give a shit. I just think it's funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
I've even heard people call it trick or treat, and it's like, well, that's very literal, but I think, you know, they just wanted to call it something different than that 80s movie about backwards masking with heavy metal and shit. I think that's the only reason.
That's funny. Trick or treat is funny too. It's like Toys R Us, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, it's not trick or, it's trick or treat. You're just supposed to say it fast. That's all.
Straight. Trick or treat.
So, anyways, yeah, this movie is another anthology, so to speak, and it definitely embodies Halloween, and I think that for that reason alone, I think it's deserving of this list because there's hardly any movies that I can recall that really, you know, just scream Halloween and that season, the entire season. And this movie does it very well. I mean, say what you will about the stories, you know, there's definitely some that are better than the others, and stuff like that. But just the idea of it all being on Halloween night and it all truly being about Halloween and that kind of stuff, I think this movie scores. I don't know if I would put it this high on the list, number 8, but I do enjoy it. I think it's a great watch. So what do you think about it, Dave?
I tell you what, I think it's too fucking low. I think I would
really
put it lower. Yeah. I think this movie's fantastic. Yes, I think this should be in the top 5. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You know what? And I watch it once a year. And I'm fresh. I mean, it was just Halloween last month, and I'm fresh off of you, so it's not like
okay. Well, let me ask you this.
Maybe it's nostalgia of Halloween now, the way I feel.
See, that's what I think. That's what I think it is because
maybe it is.
Okay, and the way it's done. You know, this is an anthology movie where everything is done. The tales are sort of out of order, and they all kind of float. They all have intertwining characters and stuff like that. That I really enjoy. The way it's set up, how it's told. The very beginning is actually the very end, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's all very. But if you take each individual story and just look at it by itself, I don't think they're nothing to write home about. I think they're okay at best. I think it's how they tell you the story and not necessarily the stories themselves that make up the movie that makes it good. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do see, but I could I can understand what you're saying, but it doesn't matter in this movie because it's done so well that, just like you said, it doesn't matter if they're the strongest stories in the world or not. The way they tie together is what really sells it for me, and the fact that it's an anthology and the look and the feel and the atmosphere of it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just fucking, coming all over it because it's Halloween,
Peel this banana!
Right? Yeah. Fucking peel it back.
Peel it back.
I just love the movie. It's just maybe in 10 years from now I'll feel different after I've seen it.
I don't think so. No, I don't. I think you're right. Ultimately you're right. It's how you feel once the movie is over. Regardless of content or anything like that. And I get the same feeling when I watch this. I'm like, I'm just so jazzed about Halloween and all that stuff. It's just that when I think about the stories individually, I'm like, well, that one's not that strong, and this one really sucks.
Well, let me hear you. Okay, which do you think is not strong? Which
the final one with
the
Sam
bus driver.
And that goes
taking
on.
Revenge on the fucking bus driver.
That goes on way too long. And
I'll give you that. That does drag a little.
And it being at the end, it's just like, get on with it already. That one, I like the werewolf one.
Yeah,
that one's good.
Yes.
Let's see, what else is there? Not the opener, but the second opener with the fat kid. And the and what is he, like a teacher or something like that. I enjoy that, and then he turns out to be a serial killer,
right?
In the other story, I like that. Now the whole when the kids die on the bus in the ravine or whatever it is.
Great. You don't like that?
Really? I like how it's shot. I love the look of it and all that stuff. I just can't get into the fact that all these parents really wanted to just kill their kids because they're a fucking burden on them. It's like, oh, come on. Like, be a fucking, there's like...
Well, there's only like half a dozen kids on there. Maybe not every kid was in on the bus that day. They just, you know what I mean? Maybe they informed each other. So well, if you want your kid to die, if you want to get rid of your burden, put him on the bus. If not, we understand.
So six families decided, we'll be better off without our 8-year-old. Let's kill that motherfucker. Get the, that's, and it's like, why do these kids... The zombie kids, I love the look of them. They look fucking awesome. It's really spooky in the ravine. I love it all. But just their motivation, why do they want to kill these other kids that come down there? I don't get that at all. I guess, I don't know.
Why? Because they were righting a wrong. Because those motherfuckers pranked freaking the poor girl that had, they were messing with the one girl that took everything seriously. She was an idiot savant, and it was just like everything else in the story, kind of like Creepshow and like Twilight Zone episodes, and where someone, if they do some evil, there's gonna be freaking repercussions from other evil things or what have you.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, there is the rules that they set up for Halloween. It's like, only eat one piece of candy. That's why the kid, gets poisoned or whatever.
It's sick too.
And and the fucking, don't blow out a jack-o'-lantern or something. All that stuff is cool. Yeah.
On Hanukkah, she tells them.
Yeah. Yeah, I do love all that. I'm just nitpicking really on the movie. I think it's a good movie. I enjoy watching it. Yeah, it's just that I think when I hear people talk about it, I'm just like, well, it's good, but I think you're giving it a bit much, But I understand. It's like the ultimate Halloween movie. It's a fun movie to sit down, watch Halloween. It encompasses everything about Halloween, and it's well made. I'll give him that. It's a well made movie, So I'm just nitpicking, really. I think it totally deserves to be on this list. I just wouldn't put it as high. That's all I'm saying.
fair enough. But I think the thing with the bus, I kind of like it because it's kind of sad and tragic, the situation that they would do that to their kids. That how many parents would do that.
It's fucked up is what it is.
Yeah, it's very fucked up. Yeah. It just, I don't know, it just makes you feel even sadder for her. And what you said about the way it's filmed. I love the way, the grainy look of the fucking, that scene with the bus. I think it's even...
Oh, and like the flashback part? Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, man. I just think what they did on a small budget and everything else, just what, man.
I tell you what.
Because it came out of nowhere and just took us all by surprise. And
yeah, I guess you're right.
It lived up to the hype. Because remember, people were talking about it for like a year.
For years.
Trailer. Yeah. And then it came out, and usually when that happens, you see the movie and you're like, okay, it was good, but the hype kind of fucked it up. This one, I believe the hype. And as a matter of fact, there's another movie we're going to come up to shortly, and that was hyped for a long time.
Yeah.
And when it came out, I liked it, but it didn't really live up to the hype. You know, so I'd like to swap those two. I don't know what number it is, but maybe when I get to it, I'll be able to say.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, and you know, just recently, you know, the sequel was announced. They're going to do the sequel. I think the sequel is going to make me appreciate this movie better. You know, because I think the sequels will probably be better. I think they're going to get more money to do it, and I think they have something to live up to. You know, so they got to strive to make the sequel better. I think it will be.
Well,
you don't think so?
I have concerns. I'm probably the only one. I've been waiting for someone else to step up, and I've listened to other podcasts, and I've seen things on web pages and whatnot, and everyone seems to be all jazzed up about it. Me, for whatever reason, I am not very excited about it. I think that they can go nowhere but down.
Yeah.
I think that this is so good that they cannot live up to it, and I think it can only go down. And it's probably going to be it's obviously going to be direct to DVD, but made like direct to DVD. Maybe more money's going to go into it. If you don't have all the people in on it, the same writer, creator, and have the same effects, I just don't know. Kind of like Creepshow and Creepshow 2. In my opinion, there's nowhere to go but down. I fucking hope I'm wrong and this movie comes out and knocks my fucking socks off. I really do. But for something inside telling me I'm not going to be let down because I'm not expecting a lot. I just think that a lot of people may be let down. But I hope I'm wrong. It's just a gut feeling I have about it. And I think I'm the only asshole that feels that way, but...
Well, no, I kind of get that. I think the reason that part 2 would be a letdown is I have a funny feeling that they will overuse the character of Sam.
Right.
And I think he's going to be all in the fucking sequel. And to me, he's not even that interesting. I don't really like... That's why I didn't like the last segment. It's like, well... What is this guy? I don't fucking understand. You know,
Wasn't
it's
it
like
cool though when they showed him and he had a pumpkin head and all that shit. He was able to generate. I mean that embodies Halloween. That whole thing. And he wasn't overkill. It was only the last 20 minutes of the film.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Elsewhere. They're gonna take that character.
You think they're gonna fucking overkill him, huh?
Yeah, I really do. It's gonna be like Halloween fucking 5 or something. Maybe not that bad, but. I don't know. I'm hopeful because I love the whole setup and I love how it's done. I love how they told the story. You know, I may not like some of the bits in the overall story, but I like how they told it. I think that was very smart. So I think they have a lot to... I think they know that if they make something subpar, they're going to disappoint a lot of people because so many people love this movie. So
yeah, you know what?
I don't think they will.
Good. I you know what? I'll try to think positive about it. Hopefully they won't.
Hopefully not. So
yeah.
It's
Halloween.
Is that when it comes out? Holy shit!
Know. I hope so. How fucking long is it going to take? I don't know.
Hey, how long does it take to make a fucking movie right here? 5 years? Get the fuck out of here. Moving on the list. Number 7, we got another foreign film, and that's Let the Right One In.
Är du vampyr?
Han du tyckt om mig ändå?
This movie kind of blew my socks off because, one, I'm not that into vampires. And two, I am definitely not into movies where a fucking child, like a young child, is the main character. Never have I really, gravitated towards that because I can't really connect, unless I'm a child myself, But this movie took such an approach to the lore and the mythology, and it really created a movie about relationships and this little boy, and it's like a coming of age story. He just happens to be coming of age in a crazy tale where he meets this girl, quote unquote, and she's a vampire. So I think this movie definitely deserves to be on the list. It's a very smart movie, in my opinion, and it's got some of the coolest ideas that we haven't seen in a long time, especially from a vampire movie. So, What do you think, Dave?
I fucking love it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, if I'm making the list, this might be my number one movie.
Really? Okay.
I fucking love it. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. I didn't know. I kind of knew what to expect, but it wasn't even close to when I actually sat down and watched it. It's definitely my favorite vampire movie of all time. Yeah, it's fucking very engaging. I'm hooked from the first minute. I love everything about it. It's such a fucking, what an incredible story.
Yeah, it's a great story, and it has so many. It tells this story, and you really get a sense that it's like a sad tale. It's like these two coming together, but it's also like the guy that's with her. You can tell that he used to be this kid. I think like years ago, he was also this kid, and he just happened to grow up while she, doesn't age, and unfortunately he just gets to a point where, I can't fucking do this anymore, and that just blows my mind of just thinking about the longevity of a vampire, but seeing it through a human's eyes. You know what I mean? It's like,
right.
He grew up with it. Well, now his time is fucking over, and now this little kid has got to pick up the torch, so to speak, and kind of take care of this person, and yeah, it's fucking great, man. The special effects were fucking awesome. Just the brutality of it all, really, it's not like over the top or anything like that. It's just the subtle moments of brutality that fucking it just floored me. I had no idea that where's this from? Like Sweden or something like that?
Yeah, it's a Swedish movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very smart. And is it based on a book from that country?
Yes, it is.
Okay, It's, and I've never read that. I'm not a huge reader. That's why I watch movies. But right. This is something I probably would read because I feel like there's a lot, so much you can elaborate on that it's just fascinating to me. It's just small things that are hinted at in the movie that could be really just blown up.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
It's such a great story. You feel sorry for Oscar. He's bullied and that whole situation, and you feel for her. You feel for the guy. Although in the book, now I didn't read the book, but I've heard that in the book, the first time I saw this movie, I thought what you thought, that he used to be Oscar and he got too old for her, him, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, is that not true?
And now I've heard, now I haven't read the book myself, a friend of mine said he saw it on Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt, but the story I've heard is that fucking he is actually a pedophile, and that is why he's doing these chores for her, and that's why she has him at her beck and call.
What?
That's
really?
What it's all about, that it's pedophilia. I could be wrong, that's just what I was told. And I'm going to go back and when we finish this, maybe tomorrow, I'll Google it and see.
I like my theory better.
In a while. I do too, and that's what I thought. And it would be much better. Mm-hmm. And if the book's a little sicker, then so be it. And, that whole thing about later on when you see the freaking, whatever you see, the penis cut off or whatever the fuck.
Right.
You don't know. They don't touch upon that in the American.
No, yeah.
They touch upon it here. And I guess it's even more so in the book, of course, because that's what books do. But story aside, it's fucking beautifully filmed. The production values, it's the lighting, the music. It's just an excellent film. It really is. The opening credits, when you see it start with the snow falling and the music, and it's just such a well-made movie, man.
Mm-hmm. That fucking scene in the hospital when they open up the curtains, and I hope I'm not getting it confused with the American. I know they did it in the American, and it's not as well done. But when it's like the person is a vampire and they don't realize it yet, and they open up the curtains and just fucking flames.
That's in the beginning of the remake.
Okay, that fucking blew me away. Yeah, it was shocking. I fucking loved it, dude.
Yeah, that was cool. Definitely, that was cool. But I thought at first you were saying the one part when she comes up to the old guy's room because he burned his face when he put that shit on him, and he's gonna die. So in his last freaking moments, he's offering himself to her, his blood, so she could feed. So all of a sudden, they open the window and she's there and she can't come in. He invites, and then he pulls in, and then she sucks him dry and throws him over the thing.
Throws him out, yeah.
Oh man, what a fucking scene! What a great! We should maybe one day we'll do a feature with this on it because this is the kind of movie
him
fucking rap on about.
The older guy with the fucking doesn't he when he makes the first kill in the movie. Isn't he like wearing a fucking bag on his head with like one eye open or something like that? I'm having a hard time remembering. It's been a while.
Is he wearing a bag? Let me think about this.
Yeah. And he's in the back seat of the guy's car. And maybe I'm thinking of the American version. I get them confused.
Well, I know he kills the one guy in the woods, in the snow. And that's the first one he gets, and he drains him with the freaking the plastic thing. But then again, maybe I could be wrong. I'm not saying what I'm saying is gospel about the movie. I've seen the movie 3 times. I've seen the remake twice. I fucking love this. Well, I love this. I saw the remake twice. I saw it once, and then another time. I didn't have this yet on Blu-ray, but I had let me in because I got it for $1. So I had some guests over. I said, watch this movie. So I showed it to them. But this one, because it's one of those that because I love it so much, I don't watch it a whole hell of a lot. But it's, it's going to be more and more. But the first kill, I do remember being in the woods, and I do remember them being like, he was siphoning in.
He's got the guy strung up, and he slices his neck, and then.
Yeah, that's what I remember. But maybe prior to that, I think he just walks up to the guy and asks him what time it is or something. And then he just pounces him. But I could be wrong.
I remember some scene where he's in the backseat of a car, and maybe it's the scene
so do
where.
Yeah,
okay. So you do okay, but just the look of him and like the, it's like a serial killer kind of aspect for that scene where, he's wearing like a bag on his head, and it's just like a creepy image.
Yeah, I think you're right. I gotta watch this again. I really do. I gotta count this shit again because I fucking love it.
Yeah, it's well deserving to be on the list. I would probably put it up higher. You said it would be your number 1. Yeah,
good chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say top 5 for this one. Definitely bring it up. So yeah, let's move on to number 6, and that's kind of a more mainstream American film, and that's Sinister. Starring Ethan Hawke. And say what you will about Ethan Hawke, good or bad, but this movie is kind of brilliant in a way that it combines sort of 2 styles of filmmaking. It's got some sort of like found footage stuff in here, but it's really kind of like just a straightforward ghost movie.
Yeah.
But then, he finds all these videos, or, like a film. Yeah, it's actually reel-to-reel.
Like fucking Super 8s.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you find, and then you watch those with him. And watching those films with him is so intense. I think those films alone is what makes the movie for me, because you just just feel dread watching these things because you know something is going to happen, and then when you see what happens, it is fucking horrific. It's crazy, and then just the outcome of it at the end. I fucking love this movie. I'll just say it right now. This movie, I don't know if I'd probably put it a little higher on the list. It's definitely one of my favorites of the past 5 years because it blends these elements so seemingly. Now, this movie kind of, once the mythology kind of opens up and stuff like that and you understand what's going on, I think the movie kind of falls apart a little bit. But given everything that it does with the films that he finds and stuff like that, and he's a true crime writer and all this stuff, I think it works great. What do you think about this?
Oh, I think it's really good also.
Mm-hmm.
I've only seen it one time. Also,
yeah, me too.
Yeah, I tried to watch it a second time not too long ago, and I was marathoning. I think it was in October at some point, and I was about half an hour in, and I started dozing off. I said, I can't watch this in this condition, so I have to go back and watch it again. But so it's fresh in my memory. It's like one of those. I know I have to finish it, but I've only seen it once, and yeah, I really liked it. I would have it on the list. Not exactly sure where, because it's tough for me to date. To decide on one viewing. It's just how I am. I need that second viewing. But I really enjoyed it, and those Super 8 movies he was watching were fucking tremendous.
Those made the movie.
Yeah, they were haunting. They were even in the beginning.
The very first scene, with the hanging, and you're like,
man,
what the
scary.
fuck is this movie I'm gonna fucking watch here? Because that is fucking freaking my shit. The whole, the grainy imagery and the seemingly kind of slow motion, the like maybe missing frames and stuff like that. That shit gets in your head, and it makes you think this is real. What I'm watching. I think that's why it's effective. And then you come out of it and you see the polished, okay, this is a Hollywood kind of movie. But when you go back to the grainy image and stuff like that, your mind, it makes it think this is real right now. I think the most horrific one for me was the lawnmower one. That one blew my that was the most shocking. That one blew my fucking mind. I knew something was going to happen like that, but that one blew my mind. I love all the titles of these films. It's like Family Barbecue, all that shit is great. And and I'm glad it concluded the way it did too. Because that was the smart move. Because if it had a happy ending, then it would not be as high on the list. But it did the smart thing, and it concluded how it actually would have in real life. True. If something like this was happening, that's how it's going to end. You're not getting out of this shit.
It made perfect sense as to how the whole thing started with him, that it was going to be passed on, of course. And he's watching the movies, and such a well-written story. And those things were great. And they remind me kind of like Ringu, the look of the grainy video and how there was no sound to it, and it was just kind of scary. It really was. They were kind of like creepy, haunting type fucking videos. Plus, what you see on the screen,
imagine if you were sitting in your apartment and you just pulled out this shit and just put it on. You would fucking lose your fucking mind, dude. Oh my god. And I just put my mind into his mind when I watch that, and that's why this movie is so effective, because it does that. It does that successfully, and that's what makes it good. And the characters, they're not dumb. I love that they are not dumb in this movie. When they figure out that something is going on, they move. They're like, we gotta go. Fuck this. Turns out that was to their detriment, but. I mean, that's what you would do in this scenario, and I'm glad that they addressed that.
Right, and they wouldn't have gone to the house in the first place if he told them. He kept it quiet, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because he wanted to write his book, and he went there, and that whole situation with the cop, and fucking he was busting his balls, and blood money, and that whole scenario. But I really did get into his character, and Ethan Hawke, I do like him as an actor, and he's really relatable in this movie.
I like him. I think he doesn't always make the best choices in films, but when he does get in a good movie, I think he always, not always, but I think he's a great actor.
He is very good, definitely. Yeah. How about that pool party situation? That was
my God.
Was I think
drowning.
That's probably my scariest.
Yeah, because drowning is got to be a terrible, terrible way to go. And yeah, just to be in a scenario where you just can't escape, and then you see other people, the fate that's happening to them is soon going to happen to you. Get the fuck out of here, dude. That's shit your pants kind of stuff.
Yeah, it really is.
Like
Good
literally.
moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary shit. It really is.
Now, all the stuff, once you get the mythology of the demon and all that stuff, and it gets a little hokey at the end and stuff like that. But
a little.
The rest of it makes it like there's a final jump scare, and it's like, oh, come on, get the fuck. You did not need to do that. That's
I forgot about that.
Yeah, there's at the very last frame is the fucking demon jumping, towards the audience. And it's like, fuck you. This movie was really good. You just fucked it up at the last second,
Yeah, you don't need to do that in films like this, I like his name, though. What is it, Bagul?
Yeah, that really confused me because I never heard Bagul. I heard the Ghoul. And, Yeah, and it wasn't until I started reading about this movie, and I'm like, oh, it wasn't the Ghoul, it's Bagul.
The Ghoul under your bed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Ghoul. Yeah, no shit.
You thought they were saying the Ghoul? That's
yeah, yeah. That's what I thought the entire time, and so I thought that was kind of generic. But then, once I realized, oh, it wasn't called that at all.
That's great, dude. Wasn't it written down somewhere? No, it couldn't have been. All right, forget it.
I think he got it all from the crazy Skype, video cast or phone message of that the fucking what was he, a fellow book writer, psychiatrist? I don't know what he was. Yeah. Right. But anyways, this movie definitely deserving to be on the list. It's one of the better movies to come out of recently, and I think it's made by like the same studio who did Insidious. I think
Makes
so.
Sense.
They kind of have the same, not necessarily same environment or anything like that, but you can tell the same approach to filmmaking, and where that it's okay. Yeah, we can make a movie that will make money and it'll be okay, but if we put a little more effort into it, we can make a really great movie that will stand, that will stay around for a while. And I think that's what they did with this one.
Yeah, definitely. And for a Hollywood movie, it's fucking whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
I hate these fucking guys that come on there and they want to be hipsters and shit. Oh, well, half the movies on this list shouldn't be there. It's got to be low budget. It's got to be independent. Get the fuck out of here. A good movie's a good movie. This is a good movie.
A good story is a good story is a good story. And, that's, whether it has, $1 million or $10,000, it's all about the story and what you do with it, so.
Yes, sir.
All right, so... Yeah, moving down the list, we got another foreign film, number 5, and that is Martyrs. I feel this is a polarizing movie as well. I feel this is really deserving to be on the list because this one really kind of bends the genre and just fucks with it immensely. It really fucks with your expectations and just fucking smashes them and throws them out the fucking window. Because this movie, it changes genres like every 5 minutes in the first 30 minutes, I think. And it gets to a place at the end that you would never, ever fucking expect in a million years. And so I think it's really intelligent on that level. But the movie starts out as like a kidnap movie, then you think it's like a slasher movie, then you think it's like a ghost movie. It really, to me, it just kept layering different kind of genres on top of one movie. And then it's like a revenge story. I was like, what the fuck is this movie? I don't fucking get it at all. And then it's like a a big grand mythology movie. At the end, it's like, what did I just watch?
Yeah, man, I hear you.
I fucking love this movie. It blew me away. It was very, very smart. I think in the hands of a lesser filmmaker, something like this would flop big time. But he did a great job, and it's really a fucking kind of a mind-bending kind of movie. So you agree, Dave?
Oh yeah, it's a great movie. Mm-hmm. Yes, and yeah, it belongs in the list. I mean, this might even be about the right spot for it.
I would put this at number 5. I think.
Yeah. That's a good spot for it. It's very good. If you haven't seen it, see it because you really should. And there's so much fucking going on. There's the whole escaping in the beginning and that situation, and this girl has the person that she can see it, the other person can't. She's trying to be a friend of the one girl's in love with the other girl. This happens.
Yeah,
so many different directions.
The main character you think is the main character is not the main character. All of a sudden, it's like, what the? I don't understand what's happening. But then it all comes together, and it's like, wow, that just blew my fucking mind. So
it is mind blowing. There's so much shit going on, and it requires a couple of viewings. Mm-hmm. And I love it for it. I'm right about due for a watch on this too, because it's fucking been a couple.
I want to see, and this won't necessarily make the movie better. I mean, the story is the story, but I've only seen the rated version, and I would like to see the unrated version eventually. So
I'll look and see which one I have. I'm not even sure which one.
I got the rated, and not that I can tell in this kind of movie, it's not going to change. The ideas of the story or anything major whatsoever, but I'm just kind of a effects freak, and I want to see more effects and kind of gore and stuff like that. So,
and it is fucking bloody and gory, and there's blood. Yeah. In the beginning when she's being chased by that fucking thing, that it's all bloody and shit. It's what it reminds me of? Hellraiser 2. Remember Hellraiser 2, how bloody that shit was in the beginning when you're trying to bring back Julia and all that other shit? There's a lot of blood in that movie, and this is similar to it in that respect, where you see the blood, you just see the muscles of the creature without the skin on it, and it's all bloody. Oh, it's fucking badass. Mm-hmm. It's good shit. Then later on, it just takes on so many different... There's so much going on with it, This is the show in itself, Murders. This is the kind of movie we could talk a long time about. But the thing is, it kind of gets... I could see people lumping it in the wrong thing. I could see them saying it's like a torture porn thing. Mm-hmm. But it's really not. You cannot say that about this movie.
No, it's way more intellectual than that.
Yes, that's the perfect word. It is intellectual. And it's... There is some torture porn type shit going on, but there's a reason for it, and that's only for... one part of the film.
Yeah, there's so many different... Like I said, this movie takes on so many different genres. It's almost... It's just insane, actually, how many... it tries to smash all together, but it has a flow to it, and you just go along with it. And by the end... you take a look back, and you're like, wow, this movie started there, and now I'm here. This is, it will just blow your mind. It's crazy. And a lot of people don't like this movie, I think, because it has too many twists and turns. I've talked to some people about it. It's like too, it gets, too heady at, by the end of it. You know what I mean? So, it's not a straightforward kind of, it's more of the thinking man's horror movie, I would say. I guess.
Right, which I could see maybe someone getting turned off to that, but
which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine. To me, that adds to it. I want to go back and watch it again, and I want to, really fucking wrap my head around it, and it's tragic. There's child abuse going on, and all kinds of shit. It's shocking,
If it didn't get to where it got at the end, and it just was more of what most people would say a straightforward kind of movie, it would be terrible because it would not be satisfying. You get to the end, and it's just is what it is, and the victim prevails, and then that's it, and then it just wouldn't be as satisfying. The conclusion they come to is just, it makes you think by the end of it, which not many horror films do, and it has something to say. You know what I mean?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's very good, and you don't want to give anything away, but everyone should watch it once again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you go in knowing as little as possible, and you're just better off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a trip. You know, be prepared.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was number 5. I would definitely put it at number 5. Let's move on to number 4. That's we're back to America now. And that's Adam Green's Hatchet.
Once upon a time, there was a boy named Victor Crowley. Folks weren't too kind to Victor, so he stayed hidden in his daddy's house.
And this is kind of the, a throwback, a love letter, an homage, a send-off to 80s slashers, sort of, with a grotesque kind of mongoloid killer who does the craziest fucking kills you've ever seen, and for that, it's, it is what it is. It fucking succeeds. Lots of people are hot and cold on this one as well because, it's basically what it just depends on what you want in a slasher kind of movie. If you want something that knows what it is and just fucking cranks it to 11. Then that's what this is. It's just a fucking crazy guy out in the middle of nowhere, and he kills people in the most unique kind of ways and stuff like that. Now, this movie also has a lot of comedy in it and stuff like that, so I can see that turning people off. I find this movie pretty okay. It's good. I don't know if I would put it at number 4 though. Absolutely not. I would have this way, way, way farther down at the end, if even on this list at all. This would be kicked back to 14 or 15 for me. I do like to watch this movie. It's a lot of fun. But that's all it is. It's more of a popcorn kind of movie, whereas a lot of these movies on the list, we take them a little bit more seriously. And this movie is just kind of a fun ride. It's got great kills. It probably has one of the best kills I've ever seen. With the, I'm gonna say with the fucking with the lady's head being ripped in half at the jaw. That is phenomenal, dude. I don't know if I've seen anything better than that. That's crazy good. But you're only gonna get one kind of thing out of this movie. I think that's my main complaint about it is that it doesn't really have too many layers. It just is what it is, and there you go. It's done pretty well, but that's all it's going to be. So, what do you think, Dave?
No, I think I agree completely with you.
Yeah.
It is fun. It's great to watch with some friends. It's a fun, good horror movie. That's what it is, and I don't mind it being right at about like number 15. It would probably. I have no problem with it being right about there on the list. Not way down at 4. Maybe
right.
if
4. Jesus Christ.
No, you can't. No. You cannot take a movie like Let the Right One In and Martyrs and say that this is in any way, shape, or form better. I'm sorry. Just, no, I'm scratching my head. No, the gore, fine. Good gore and fun, yes. But
yeah, very fun. And dude, say what you will about his movies, but Adam Green, he's an awesome guy. He makes fun. Cool. He does fun stuff. Love him or hate him, but he does what he wants to do, and you gotta respect a guy like this for that. And
sure.
And anybody of his stature in the community, you just gotta love. Whether or not you dislike his movies, he makes them well, and he should be respected for that, definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm. And he's good in Frozen and Spiral.
Oh, great. Great. Both great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are 2 movies to see that are just as good, if not better, than Hatchet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're in the same time frame, because Hatchet came before them both, I believe. So, But the thing is, this movie, if you could replace some of the comedy with genuine scares, and I mean good scares like Friday the 13th Part 2 scares or Halloween 78, then you could be saying, okay, old school American horror, because that's what they marketed this shit, you know. And I alluded to before, I said there's another movie, it took a year or two, they promoted the fuck out of it, and I remember seeing the trailer, and it kind of spooked me out. And they showed pictures of him, this little deformed boy, and they said, man, this is the legend of Victor Crowley. You could probably still see the trailer on YouTube now and shit.
Yeah.
It went around for a little while, and I really thought that it was going to be old school American horror. I was like, okay, fucking A. But then I remember right before it came out, people were saying that there was going to be some comedy in it, and this, and right away, I'm kind of turned off. And it wasn't over-the-top comedy, it was comedy, you know. We know what we've all seen it.
Just, I think instead of saying old school American horror, it should have said like old school American kills or murder, because that's really what this movie is about. Yeah, it's a 90-minute movie, but you're right, it's not scary. It's mainly a set piece to get to some great fucking murders, and that's that's pretty much it. Yeah, which is fine,
right?
You know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a number 4 out of the past 5 years, though. I'm sorry.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But I'm not knocking it. It is what it is, and you know, I'm sure everyone's seen it that's listening to this show. I would imagine so. It's pretty popular.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a movie that I've actually. I've done this with several other movies. I did this with the Saw series a lot. It's movies that I'll buy and I'll watch like 2 or 3 times, and then I'll sell it. And then I'll go back and be like, you know, I want to watch that, and then I'll go buy it again. You know what I mean? I've done that with Hatchet, and I've done that with a lot of the Saw movies. It's like, so I can't ever diss a movie that makes me buy it more than once, you know? So,
yeah, you got that right. Alright, listen, Blodo, with your big fat suit. Next time, say no, don't send no substitute. Because I asked you for a beatbox and you know what I got? Dougie Fresh, you know that kid from down the block? For facsimile, we must admit, Dougie Fresh is good and made a perfect fit. He's the only reason why we weren't totally mad. Without Dougie, our Christmas would have been really sad. Jingle, jangle, jingle for the Pope. And once he gets your welfare check, even Dougie Fresh gon' go. Ho, ho, ho. Dougie Fresh gon' go. Christmas off, I had no loving in a while. I love to have sex, but I can't afford a child. My girl wants a baby, but I had to chill. She said, if you don't want a baby, then you take the pill. What is Christmas for? Huh? What is Christmas for? What is Christmas for? Yeah, what is Christmas for?
Wind up toys that don't wind up. Talking dolls that don't shut up. This is the type of present that you buy when you're poor, so that's what you have to settle for. And it ain't no secret that everything's sunny if you're living in Palm Springs with all that money. Americanomics works, and I won't argue that is true. But if the economy is getting better for who? Well, if you ask me, I'm doing much worse than before. With the welfare cuts, I don't eat no more. So if I did want to go out, I couldn't go nowhere, cause I ate every last one of them reindeer. Rudolph first, I went down the list. I got so hungry, I just couldn't resist. I ate Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Dixon, fried them up and then started to mix them. And before you knew it, they were all gone. I wonder what you're gonna do about my reindeer song.
We'll sing Silent Night and Jingle Bells and all those Christmas rhymes. Cause nobody gives a about your reindeer and hard times. You just jingle and jangle and hang out with the Pope. And when you get your welfare check, you buy reindeer by the snow.
Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
All right, fuckers, we are back with the top 3 Horrormovies.ca's list. .ca's, it's so weird sounding. Horrormovies.ca, their list of the 15 best new horror movies in the past 5 years. Let's do this. Top 3. Number 3, and
I know you love it, man.
I do love this movie. It just was very smartly made. It kind of revitalized a genre, maybe, but that is Insidious.
Are you ready? Yeah.
This movie, I think, the reason I call it smart is because it didn't do anything fake. Okay, you know, everything was for the purpose of what was going on in the movie. There was never a cat jumping out at you or anything stupid like that, you know, a Paranormal Activity movie might do, which I'm very glad that movie is not on this fucking list. But, yeah, it was very smart, very masterfully crafted. I think that's the number one thing, is that the filmmaker, James Wan, and his writing partner, they crafted a world and they made it so well that you just couldn't help but be engaged in it. And it was actually scary. You know, all the elements came together, the soundtrack, the effects, and the story, and they all came together to make a really compelling, scary story. And, you know, it's like a haunted house story, but it isn't, you know, and that's not even really my favorite genre of film. And so for me to like it, I think is a big deal. Now, this movie, you know, some say it kind of takes a turn in the third act and stuff like that. And yes, it does. But I think if you're already invested in it, that you'll go with it there at the end. And you know, some people do and some people don't. Now, is this movie deserving to be number 3? I would probably keep it in the top 5. I don't know if I keep it number 3, maybe. But Dave, what do you think about Insidious?
Yeah, I like Insidious also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As far as where it deserves to be on the list. There's not a question about it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly where I'd have to sit down and make my own and see. I'm not even sure about top 5, but it would definitely not be excluded. No, it's a good movie. What you said about the third act is what is my problem with it. It's unfortunate, and it's too bad because there are some genuinely scary things going on. You know, there are two scenes in particular that make me jump, and even to this day, I know they're coming. And the one part when the baby's in the thing and she hears the voice on the fucking
I love that part.
Every time it just fucking wow, because I could just picture myself being in that situation and having a baby that age, and how fucking scary would that be? You know what? Even leading up to it, when she's sitting there and she hears the whispering, it's saying something to him. It's slowly getting louder. That it wouldn't even got to that point if it was my daughter. As soon as I would have heard the whispering and the talking at all, I would have been up those fucking stairs. And I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, holy fuck, because that was just scary to me. Because it's you know, some unknown entity, and it's your little fucking infant baby in that room. It's like, holy shit, that's scary, you know. Mm-hmm. And there are some scary things, and it's a good movie. Good performances. It seems like it moves too fast, and it seems like the ending just comes abruptly in the third act. But you know, throwback to 80s horror. Some of it I like when they sit down. It reminds me of like Witchboard or something.
Witchboard?
Yeah, like when they're trying to conjure the fucking thing up, and you know, they kind of did it a little bit with Drag Me to Hell too, which I'm not a big fan of, but it just kind of had a little bit of that vibe to it, like an 80s supernatural horror movie. Mm-hmm. So I do like it. I think it's a good movie. I prefer a couple other of Wan's movies to it, but it's a damn good fucking, I guess you call it a ghost story, you know?
I think that falls solely on James Wan, really, because if not for him, I don't think any of this would have worked. I mean, it would have worked, but it wouldn't be what it is, and that is a really well-made movie. The guy knows how to see the world through a lens and make that work for a film. And without his direction on it, I don't think half of the shit would have worked, and we wouldn't be talking about it right now. He just knows how. He's a great filmmaker. I want to see him do an action movie. I want to see him do Fast and Furious 7. Yeah, I'm not even a fan of that franchise, but I know he knows how to film shit and make it look great and make everything work. And I want to see. It's kind of a weird thought. I don't want to go off topic, but I want to see non-genre. People in the film industry, they disregard horror for the most part. Unless you're into horror, they think it's trash and think it's just is what it is. It's garbage. But I would love to see like big time master filmmakers, take on a horror movie and just see what they can do with it, because there's great stuff to be made, and I think James Wan is one of those guys. He is going to go and he's going to be catapulted into one of the great directors, I think, of a generation. And he's going to go on, he's going to do other things, and he's going to do all kinds of great things. But it's stuff like this that where he just really shows his hand and just how well he can make a movie. And I think the success of this movie falls solely on him. I mean, there's lots of great elements in it. The writing in it is great and stuff like that. The music, I've talked about that, but I think without him, this project would have fallen apart. But I mean, it's a great movie. It spawned a sequel that I know how you feel about it, David. But that is what it is. But say what you will about the sequel, it's still everything done behind the camera, with the camera, the setups, everything. James Wan is great. I don't know if you can argue about that about Insidious 2. I think the problems with that is mainly the writing and and where they went. But I think how he filmed it, all the scares, I think all those were great. I think the problem in it that you have, maybe I'm guessing, is the writing. But I think he is and I'm really sucking his dick here, but I think James Wan is great. Even like Dead Silence. I mean, it's a terrible movie.
I don't hate on Dead Silence. I don't hate on it. I really don't. I might even give it a 3 out of 5 if we're rating that on our show.
See, now I want to go, now that I've seen, all of his movies, and I'm just like, wow, this guy is crazy good. I want to go back and watch Dead Silence, because I hated it. At the time, I think that was like his second movie, and I was like, it's fucking garbage, But now I want to go back and watch it, just having the knowledge of this guy's entire, career and oeuvre of movies. I want to kind of go back and watch it just to see where I can see his kind of, his work being done on that film. But who knows? I probably won't, but who knows?
I am going to watch it again just because it keeps coming up, and I listen to other podcasts, and I hear a lot of people shit all over it, and I think it gets a bad rep just because so much of the other stuff is so good. I know it's not on the same par. It's not on par.
It's just tonally different, It's
right,
it's a puppet movie, so it's different, right?
Yeah, see, I guess if that kind of shit might spook you out, you might appreciate it. Me personally,
true.
It kind of does. So it does hit a little bit home with me. But I don't like the swerve at the end. But I don't know. I'm going to watch it again. Maybe we'll even do a show on it. Who fucking knows? But I'm going to watch it again. And maybe that'll give us a reason to watch it. But I want to check it out again. And Insidious is good. And all the Wans were good. I mean, in Insidious 2, sure, it's filmed well. And it's his style and everything else. And I mean, fuck, it's a multi-million-dollar movie. You better fucking have it look nice. And I'm not saying he's not a great director at all, but I'm saying it would be kind of hard to fuck up all that money. And as far as the scares in part 2, There was very few, and a couple were regurgitated. They did the fucking baby monitor thing again.
Yeah, they did do
Oh,
that
it's
again.
so fucking cheesy. I mean, once it was great in part 1. Don't do it again in part 2. Everything they did in part 2, it was so much of a callback to 1. That's what really bothered me. Not even so much the direction. What you said about that he writes it, which is incredible. And that's what was disappointing to me about 2, is that's the first thing I thought halfway through the movie. I'm like, I cannot believe that the writing team of fucking Wan and Wannell fucking wrote this same movie. They wrote Saw, they wrote fucking this, they wrote that, they wrote fucking The Conjuring, and there you go. Do you feel The Conjuring should be on this list? Do you think that Insidious is fucking head and shoulders above The Conjuring? I think
I know you like The Conjuring more. I like Insidious more.
Yeah.
I think because, I don't know, maybe it's because Conjuring is like more of a period piece, and Insidious goes even farther into like the fantastical, kind of with the further and everything.
I do kind of dig the further thing.
Yeah.
In this movie. In the second movie, it's a complete fucking shit. But
Right.
yeah, in this movie, I liked what they did with the further. That was cool.
The Conjuring, it's definitely well made, and
Yeah.
I think maybe this list was put out. I don't know when it came out, but
No, American Mary's on it. That just fucking dropped not too long
yeah,
ago.
that's true.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, really? People are not into The Conjuring as much? Not that I'm shitting on Insidious, because I'm not saying it doesn't belong here, because it does. But
Yeah.
I think The Conjuring probably should too. That's all. That's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah, that definitely would have knocked Fright Night out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Please. Yes, yeah, good call. Insidious to me seems like it's more for a younger crowd, and The Conjuring seems like it's more
classic kind of style of
And
haunted
I
house
guess
kind of thing.
I guess it's just more my style now. It's just like when people don't want to watch like Carrie. Like modern day Carrie, they're gonna watch the remake and they're gonna like it, and they won't be able to watch like the original Carrie. They won't get it, like 18, 16-year-olds and whatnot. And when I was their age, I wouldn't have watched Psycho or fucking an Argento movie. Probably I would not have wanted to be bothered with it. But now that I've grown a little older and I can appreciate movies for different reasons, I fucking love that shit. So maybe one day they'll look back and they'll do the same thing that we're doing. I don't know. That I'm doing, I should say. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not knocking Insidious one little bit. It's a damn good movie. Actually had some sequences that were scary, which is not easy to do. And the only negative is that what I said about the third act was, I don't know. It's a little unfortunate. It could have been a fucking slam dunk movie, and to me it wasn't. But it was still very good. So belongs on the list. There's no questioning that.
Definitely does. Number 3, it might be a little high. I might knock it back a peg or two. So let's move on to number 2, and that is this year's Evil Dead.
Groovy.
This movie is, I've said polarizing a lot in this list, but this movie definitely is, because you got the hardcore fans of the original series, and then you got people, I don't want to divide the two, but there's people who flat out dismiss this. They say, nah, it's terrible. They went in a direction that they shouldn't have. Then you got the people who say, hey, it is what it is. It's a fun, great movie. I think the problem in these remakes is when you start comparing. You can't compare. It is a remake, so there is going to be similarities and stuff like that. So you're saying, hey, how can you not compare it? Well, you just have to separate it. Why? Because this movie is not made for you. It's not made for the person who saw the original and has watched it 30 times. This is made for a new audience. So you got to come at it with that kind of mentality. And when you do, I think this movie is a home run. It fucking, I love this movie. I think it's fucking well paced. It fucking has great fucking effects, great moments in it, and Yeah, they don't like expand on the mythology of this, or anything like that, and that's fine. I wasn't asking for that. I think if you expand on something like The Evil Dead, you're asking way too much. I think they did a great job with this movie. It's one of the goriest movies I've seen in a long time. Not that makes or breaks a movie, but it's just another element. I really enjoy this movie. Number 2. I don't know if I would put it at number 2. That's a tough call, and I don't know. It would definitely be up there. I don't know where exactly I'd put it, but what do you think, Dave?
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's making my list or not, but I do enjoy it, and
Of the past 5 years.
I got to sit down and write. Well, you know what? See, this is I can't say too much because we got our show coming.
Right.
And we're making our list of top 3 and top 5 or whatever we're going to do when we get on that show. And I can tell you that there's 3 other movies from 2013 I prefer. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy Evil Dead. I like the gore. I have fun with it. It's fucking gory. It's not really scary.
No, it is not scary whatsoever.
No.
Yeah, you're right about that.
The substance is decent. I liked some things about it. Some of the plot and some of the other stuff, it just, it was okay. But I can't knock the gore, but even though I'm a gore hound, I need more than gore to make me love it.
Yeah, true.
So... And now I've seen it twice, and I'm going to watch it again, too. I'm going to watch it in the future. I really am, And I do like it. I just don't think... It's weird because a lot of people hate on it, and a lot of people suck its dick. It's there isn't too many people in the middle on it. And I seem to be one of those people that's in the middle. Mm-hmm. And that's strange, but that's
probably a good world to be in. I know you and I have a huge admiration for the original Evil Dead.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you're gonna, you just can't compare. It's just 2 different animals altogether. Yes, it basically tells, the same story with different turns here and there, but it's just different. It's done by a different director, and it's his vision of that story. So. At the end of the day, it's like, well, is his story good, And I think ultimately, yes. I think because this is kind of the movie, it's not intellectual in any way, like Martyrs is or anything like that. But at the same time, this is kind of the movie that we wanted to see. It's like we were talking about earlier, fun movies with like Hatchet.
Yeah.
And that movie is fun, but I think Evil Dead is a lot more fun than Hatchet, and so that's why I think it deserves to be high on the list.
Yeah, there's no laughs in it though. See, Hatchet's fun because it's lighthearted and there's a little laughter in it, and even some of the kills are a little bit laughable. In Evil Dead, and I'm the last guy that you would think could be saying this because I'm not into the comedy in my horror, but yeah. Evil Dead was a very serious movie. It had some fucking serious gore in it, but cast that aside, I don't know. I guess it's fun for gore's sake, because I'm the first guy that'll fucking stand up and cheer when some fucking, some guy's arm gets blasted off and it looks great. So I guess you could say fun from that aspect, but not fun in the Hatchet way.
Yeah, I think if this movie just had scares. I think that's what it's missing.
Scary.
I mean, yeah, some of the characters suck. I get that. They're not fully, maybe it's the acting, maybe there's just the writing, who knows with that. But, this is a horror movie. It is horrific, but it's not scary. If it had the scary elements from part 1 with, like, the really over-the-top gore that's in, like, part 2... which it kind of has, at some point, this raining blood and shit like that.
That was cool.
I think it would be much more, held in higher regard because it just doesn't get to you like maybe the original Evil Dead did with its scares, because that movie is fucking creepy as shit.
This
movie doesn't creep you out; it grosses you out. That's the difference. Yeah, unfortunately.
True. You know, I need a third view. The first view was in the movies. The second view, I bought the Blu-ray and I watched it. And the last half hour, I was dozing off.
Yeah.
So I really can't be before we do the thing with the Skeleton Crew. I'm absolutely watching it again. I'm gonna make up my mind once and for all, because I'm hemming and hawing on this fucking movie. I'm gonna make up my mind once and for all whether I really like it or I just think it's average. So one more view is what it's gonna take.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so stay tuned.
You know, another fucking exciting episode of BananaLaser.
Yeah, hold on to your bananas, fucking assholes. So let's move on to number 1, and oh boy, we've got a fucking doozy up here. Number 1, oh brother. Okay, so number 1, guys, is Cabin in the Woods.
Think I'm a puppet, gonna do a little fucking puppet dance. I'm the boss of my own brain, so give it up.
Bum, 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 bum. Get the fuck out of here. Cabin in the Woods number 1. Go fuck yourself. Horrormovies.ca. This makes me hate Canada right now. You are fucking morons if you think this is the best fucking movie from the past 5 fucking years. Get the fuck out of here, dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. This movie is fun on some elements, but this is not like a fucking groundbreaking movie whatsoever. Half of these movies are fucking better than Cabin in the Woods. And I kind of like Cabin in the Woods. I don't love it. I kind of like it. It's got a good, you know, it tries to be so smart for its own good, and it really isn't. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is the smartest horror movie you've ever seen. No, it's not. It really isn't. You know, I don't know, Dave. What do you think?
I respect it.
Sure,
sure. The concept is fucking brilliant, and I have to say that. The execution is not.
Oh yeah, it's not. There's some shit in here that's fucking awesome and fun as hell. But as the overall package, it falls flat as fuck to me. And I know people love this movie. They love it. When I saw this in the theater, people applauded at the movie theater. I was like,
nice, like Rob Zombie's Halloween, huh?
Yeah.
I remember they applauded because it was over too.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and Dave and I have talked about this before. This movie just. If you would re-edit this movie and kind of split it in two, because where this movie falls flat is not in the stuff in the you know, the behind the scenes stuff with the controllers and all that shit. It's all the horror elements in the cabin. None of that shit works. Zero. And that's all that movie. All that part of the movie sucks. Because all you want to do is like, hey, what's going on with these guys, you know, looking at the TV monitors and controlling all this shit. What's going on with them? That's all you care about. And so I think if you took this movie and edited it so that you see none of them throughout the entire movie, you just see all these kids getting killed in the woods and all that stuff. You don't see the bird flying into the invisible force field or anything like that. And then once the stoner dude finds the elevator, and then you're like, what the fuck, an elevator? They jump in the elevator and then cut and then rewind the movie, start over, and then see it from the point of view of everybody in the basement, and then play the movie like that, and then have them both meet at the end. That would be a way better movie. Because playing both of these storylines at the same time, it makes your head spin. You want to see what's going on down there. You don't give a shit about the kids up top. And so I would say half of this movie is good, essentially.
Yeah, and that is the fucking perfect scenario, what you said about the stoner getting into the elevator, and then the secret comes out because...
can you imagine what a surprise that would be?
Yeah, I mean,
man. And we've talked about this before, but like when when Thor is on the motorbike,
Yeah.
he's gonna jump the fucking ravine. You know he's gonna fucking crash into that wall because we saw it in the first 10 minutes.
That's right.
And it takes everything out of it. And it's like there's no surprises. This movie is built on surprises. It was like, that's how they sold it to you. And so when you're constantly thinking, hey, where's the surprise? Hey, where's the surprise? Hey, what's that? Hey, what's that? Hey, what's that? Then it ruins everything. It ruins it. It's just, I think they had a great idea. Great fucking idea. Brilliant idea, actually. But
yeah, totally brilliant idea.
They just executed it wrong. That was all it is. Execution.
Yeah, 100%. And we did fucking get on it before. And you know what? We should advertise it for the purists. Because 20 years from now, we're going to fucking be... People are going to be going back and, looking at me and you and saying, hey, look at these fucking guys. Yeah, they started BananaLaser fucking LLC. This is how it started. There's going to be little fucking, like fucking little smarts, little guys out there, fucking hipsters and shit. And they're going to say, hey, when did these guys get their start? And we got started 2 places. Skeleton Crew episode 50. We discussed it with Alex. It was the first show we both appeared on, but not together. However, there is another fucking hidden gem somewhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, to find the first show we've ever done, it is the Dirty Bay Horror Podcast.
Yeah.
Episode 2, Cabin in the Woods. Hunt it out and fucking find it somewhere. It's got to be on the internet. Dirty Bay Horror. It might even be a .com still in existence. I don't know. Get on that shit. Go on to fucking episode 2, and you see me and we see fucking Dave Z and Wizzel in their first fucking collaboration ever with our gracious host Frederick.
Yeah.
And
Freddie.
Yeah, it was his show. I did 2 shows with him, show 1 and 2, and show 2 was with Wizzel, and then that spawned fucking BananaLaser right then and there.
I noticed the bulging banana in Dave's pants. I'm like, I gotta do something with this guy. I mean, he's packing heat. Holy shit! I gotta peel that shit back.
This motherfucker, he made a phone call to his realtor. He got the laser lounge hooked up. Fucking, we were in that dilapidated building in fucking humble beginnings, and fucking now, man, we've come a long way in fucking less than 20 shows. So, but yes, we've discussed this show. We probably spent a fucking hour on it on the 3 Babe podcast, and we fucking went off. So, yeah, so guys, seek it out. It's out there. If you want to hear
Number 1, though, can you believe this shit?
My God.
That is fucking atrocious. Oh, my goodness.
It is
Number
atrocious. 1. I might have it at my 15. Just because of the brilliance of the concept of it, and how this is the kind of movie that if somebody comes over and I can't show them gore and I can't show them certain horror movies and I want to watch a horror movie, I'll say, you know what? This movie's a smart little fucking horror movie. Check it out and see what you think they're getting at.
This movie wishes it was like Behind the Mask, and it wishes it was Tucker and Dale, but it is not. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe there's like Joss Whedon, Weed Nights, out there. And don't get me wrong, he's a great writer, great director and stuff, and I'm pretty sure he just wrote this, but and he had a great idea, but it just it falls flat in the execution. I mean, I am not applauding this movie yet by the end of it, so who knows.
No, I'm not applauding it, but I'm gonna watch it again, and it might be at number 15, and it might sneak in just because of what I said about the concept of it. But no, Leslie Vernon did it much better.
Yeah.
But this is still pretty smart with the ideas about fucking all the movies being made. For one reason and one reason only, to appease the gods, and just the little fucking tributes they do to all different genres of horror. And that last 20 minutes is really cool.
The outbreak of all the monsters and shit.
Yeah,
that's
fun
great.
as fuck.
Yeah, that's the fucking money shot in this entire and nobody's going to argue that. I mean, seeing a unicorn spear somebody with this fucking, that's fucking great shit, dude. That's awesome, but that doesn't make that doesn't make the entire movie though. Then
no, it doesn't. I hear you. Yeah. No, it doesn't. And I'm I'm shocked it's number 1 too.
Yeah.
That's no joke.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll make our own fucking top 15 and talk about it.
Well, I think somebody commented, because I reached out about this list today, and somebody commented somewhere. I can't remember what avenue it was, but somebody put in The Loved Ones as should be on this list.
Have you seen The Loved Ones?
I have seen it, and I probably would put it on this list. I definitely think that's better than Cabin in the Woods. I'd probably put it at the low end of this list, but I would knock out probably the Fright Night remake, and then put The Loved Ones in there. Close to the end, 14, 15. It's a nice little movie. And have you seen it?
No, I have not seen it. I've heard people talk about it. I've heard it mentioned in discussions, and
it's very simple in its idea. And but it just goes to show you it's just how you do it, and it's just well made. It's never boring for a second. You're always wondering what the characters are going to do next, and it's a nice little film. I think it's from Australia or something like that. It's a foreign movie. I can't remember exactly where it's from. It's been a while since I've seen it.
I'm gonna get on it, man.
Yeah, pretty simple movie, but it's really good. Another movie that I would put on the list, and
I got a bunch. Shit.
This one, I love found footage, and this movie came out maybe 2 or 3 years ago, but this movie is one of the better found footage movies. It's not a perfect movie by any means, but I think it deserves to be on the list. Kind of maybe 11, 12 or back, and that's Grave Encounters. Have you seen Grave Encounters?
No, I still have not seen Grave Encounters.
I fucking love Grave Encounters. It's one of you know what?
I gotta get on it. It's on Netflix. That and the sequel. I gotta get on that shit.
It's a movie where the premise is it's a ghost show, one of those ghost TV shows, and they go to a place, and then it turns out to be haunted. Seems like you've seen this movie before, but this movie, it really hooks you, and I think the moment where I was sold on the movie is that. Is where they all decide that, hey, this shit is really happening and it's not safe here. We should leave. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. You should leave. Yeah. Fucking leave. Yeah. And they walk to the front door where they came in, and then they open the door, and it's suddenly another hallway. And you're like, holy fuck. Huh. They can't fucking leave.
Wow.
And the building literally changes not before their eyes, but they turn a corner and suddenly there's a wall there, and it's just like, wow, this place has fucking got them. And
that's cool.
And, it does have a couple of CGI moments where it's like, well, that feels like a movie now, but and that's why I wouldn't put it too high on the list. But overall, it's one of the more fun, scary found footage movies that I've seen. I really enjoy that movie.
I'm going to get on it, man. Shit, because I love the found footage too, and it's on Netflix just waiting to be watched. So
yeah, it's good. I mean, I was really surprised when I found it, and very happy. And I immediately bought it, and I really enjoy that movie. It's
shit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, check it out.
I was thinking of a couple found footage that I was going to put on the list.
Oh, okay.
And one of them was Wreck 2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
First one I thought of, because not as good as the first one, but just a fucking notch below. A very good movie. And
yeah.
It came out in 2009, so it counts.
Okay, I was thinking that came out earlier. Okay. No, I fucking love that movie, dude.
Yeah,
I even like it better than the first one, I think.
Do you really?
Yeah, just because the setup is already established, but we're going to the exact same spot, so it's not like you're just kind of elaborating on it.
You like how they go into that whole Satanism angle instead of fucking,
I do.
Yeah.
I do. They, by the time part 3 rolls around, I think they go a little too far with it.
Fortunate, yeah.
But I enjoy. It's a fresh take. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a fresh take on an old idea. So I really enjoy it for that. It's just the first half with the military, or not the military, like the SWAT team, is so intense to me, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh man, it's intense. It's like pulse pounding, to me. It gets me. I love it.
It is cool. Yeah, it's damn good. I'm not sure if I have it over 1, but I had it just a notch below. But
yeah,
I've seen the first one like 5-6 times. I've seen the second one only once. So, but I knew I liked it. I just have to go back,
Mm-hmm.
But that was one of the found footage that I wanted to add, and another one. And you mentioned it before, and I know you're not into it because you mentioned it. But I'm not even saying that movie in particular, but you can pick one. I enjoy the Paranormal Activities.
I do too, to a point.
I think part 3 is the best one. So
yeah.
I would put it. Oh, you agree? Really nice.
No, I don't know.
Okay, I really enjoyed 3. Everything came together. They got better as they went along, I thought, until 4. And
4 is fucking garbage.
4 was okay for a half. I just didn't like the way they fucking summed it up. But I like the way. I just like the way it was set up. Because you have to see 1 and 2 to understand 3. There's a lot of thinking going on, and I just like there's a lot of creepy ass scenes going on in that movie. With the one in particular with the ghost getting closer on the fucking bed sheet, and the kids getting pulled out of the bedroom down the stairs, and when they get locked in that one room, the bathroom of the girls' room. I don't know. If I was to pick one, it would be Paranormal Activity 3. But,
yeah.
I
like them.
Yeah.
And, they invoke the feeling that I desire when watching one, but I don't know. To me, it's just like more surface level of a movie, I guess. I don't know. I see them all. I'll watch, the marked ones, I'll probably watch that. I'll watch 5 when that comes out. Even though I hated 4, I'll still watch 5. So I can't diss on it too much.
Right. Mm-hmm. Just like Saw, when the next Saw comes out.
Yeah, 7 was terrible.
7 was fucking terrible, and it's the final chapter, and let it fucking be, would you please?
Yeah.
But the news out is that 8's coming out, so...
Is it going to be 8, or is it going to be...
It's going to be 8, I've heard. I don't know. Okay. It's very fucking early in, but they say it's a sequel, and it's going to be 8.
They want to make something, because they know that no matter what they do, it's going to make X amount of money. It could be a fucking turd. It will still make, $30 million.
Yeah.
If it's a fucking total turd, it will still make $30 million. So as long as they make it for 15, they double their money. It's that kind of logic, which I hate.
It's like fucking Insidious too. That's what I have to say about that. It was a cash in. That's my opinion. But on Saw, as far as Saw is concerned, I think Saw 6 was put out in 2009. I would put that on my list.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Saw seated. Yeah, I like Saw 6 a lot.
I like 6. That one had like a group of people going through traps again.
It was cool because it had 2 things going on. It had the one part was the group, and then one part was the other people, the other guys. So it was like a combination of like, I don't know, 2 and 5, I guess you could say.
Was that the one with the realtors and the whole housing?
Yeah, everybody was in
subplot
on
and
it.
shit like that. Yeah,
yeah, those were the people in 6, and they were also. It was heavy on the health insurance situation.
Yeah, that's Mm-hmm.
That was the big angle, and I fucking loved it. I loved Jigsaw's parts in it, and everything he had to say about health insurance, and it was a little topical. But I mean, once again, his motives to me were justified, which is why I love that character, Jigsaw. I fucking love that shit. It made sense to me what he was doing. So, yeah, I like Saw 6, and I don't know. Is there any other movies you would add to the list?
I was, all the ones I thought of, I'm like, oh, well, this should be on there. Then I looked it up, and it's like, well, that's 2004. I'm like, oh, okay. You know, it's like some movies I don't get to for a while, and then, you know, that's why. It's because I thought it was newer, but really
gotcha.
wasn't, so.
But what did you think? What about Halloween 2? You liked Halloween 2, right? Would you put that on the list?
I liked it.
But
would I
not.
put it on the list? I mean, it's tough. To me,
I'm not sure myself. And I like.
Yeah, I don't think I would because no, I wouldn't. I mean, that's tough. I mean,
it is tough. It's a good movie, man.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's burdened by the fact that it is a sequel kind of thing, and I'm not to a list like this. I don't really. You know, you've already talked about 2 sequels.
I know,
I don't really look at sequels as like something you would put on this kind of list.
Ordinarily, no. I hear you. I know. I just, you know, Saw 6 is a standout one in the series for me. One of them, and Rec 2. Fuck, like you said, you like it better than the original. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but you know, what did you think about the Human Centipede? Because I consider that being on there too. Because I enjoy the fuck out of that.
The first one?
The first one. Not the second. Not that I hate the second, because I enjoy it, but I prefer the first.
I enjoy them both for different reasons, but I think in the Human Centipede is a great, you know, concept and a cringe-worthy idea. I mean, I have multiple T-shirts with the Human Centipede diagram on it, you know. But at the same time, do I think it's like deserving of the best horror movies of the past 5 years? Probably not. It's more of a concept. I think I enjoy the shit out of it, but it's, you know, as a movie, I think there's better stories to be told, whereas this is just like a really crazy, insane concept, you know, that is made into a movie. I don't think I would put it on there. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it was one that I considered.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I ever just sit down and fucking take a couple hours out of the day to make a 15 of my own, I don't know. It's teetering on there, because I get a lot of enjoyment out of the Human Centipede. I laugh a lot. It was a pretty original story.
Very. Yeah.
You know, I love the doctor. What a casting job.
He made the movie.
Yeah.
Which is funny because part 3 is going to have both him.
Yeah, I don't get that, right?
And it's going to be so wrapped around itself, I think.
It might be shit, huh?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm interested in, because I think the director is probably a hack. And he, you know, has one good idea, and he's gonna fucking ram it into the fucking ground.
Yeah.
And then if he does anything else, I'll be surprised if it's actually watchable. Unfortunately, and I fucking love Human Centipede 2. I love it. You know.
Do you like it more than one?
Yeah. It's
no
just,
shit, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because
I enjoy
it's really you know, it's very graphic, you know, on that aspect. And to me, it's a comedy.
The first half is a comedy.
Part 2 is a straight comedy to me, and it's nothing but a laugh riot to me. I fucking laugh nonstop because it's so ridiculous.
I do in both of them.
And that's the statement he's trying to make. He's like, "Hey, you thought part 1 was fucked up? Here you go. Here's part 2. This is fucked up." You know, like so. Yeah, I mean,
wait till the third one. It might be a fucking knee slapper from fucking start to finish.
Yeah, who knows?
100-person centipede they're talking about and shit. Imagine that with all these.
I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, but at the same time, it sounds ridiculous. But you know, when after you watch the first one, and then you knew the plot of this—not the plot, but you heard, oh, part 2 is going to have a 12-person centipede. You're like, no way, no. You can't.
I know, right? Yeah,
and
right.
then he does it, and he does it at an angle that you were not expecting.
True.
You know, you weren't expecting that angle whatsoever.
No way, right.
So who knows? Who knows what he's gonna do?
It's funny, and I gotta tell you, I talk about this movie at work. I got like
because it gets under people's skin. Big time.
There's like 2 or 3 guys I talk to, 2 friends of mine. Sometimes if I'm sitting there and I'm bored, we'll talk about like fucking who would be the 3 people that we work with to put in the centipede. Who would be the funniest? And it's funny because You have to come up with the most ridiculous people you know to be the head of the centipede, and just put them in their position and how they act, and you'd be surprised at the fucking results you get. Just look around think about people you know at your job, and just knowing their personalities. And imagine if this guy was the fucking head of the centipede. You could almost hear the lines they would say and the way they would react to the situation, especially like in the beginning when he's explaining it to him, like what they would say when he was doing it. Oh, God. I fucking... I'm fucked up. We sit there at work and we just fucking talk about this shit sometimes and have a lot of fun with it.
Man, I'm glad I don't work with you.
Oh, yeah, it's funny. Yeah, because you might be funny. Nah, I don't think you'd be funny as the head of the centipede. I'm trying to think of somebody I know, that you know that would be funny as the head of the centipede. Offhand, I can't think. Maybe Michael J would be funny as the head of a centipede.
Oh, God.
I'm trying to think of like the lines he would say. I can't imitate him right now. But if you can do an imitation of something and put them in their position,
right,
and you go places with it.
You're gonna do what? You're gonna put what on the what?
Come on, you're not gonna put me in a centipede. No. Do you know who I am? No. It is like you take different people's personalities and talk about it. Right. I get fucking, I'm fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, agreed.
Agreed.
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up our little conversation here of Horrormovies.ca, their list. And wow, I'm glad Dave, you brought this list up.
You guys.
Yeah.
It's like fucking she's in here with us. It's fucking The Exorcist.
Your mother sucks cocks in hell. Yeah, no, it was a good topic of conversation. We like to, just do things differently for you guys. That like the show coming up next is going to be our unholy trinity of horror comedies, and then we got the year-end show planned. We got the future retrospectives we want to do. We'll do more classic 80s movies and stuff. We just want to change it up and do fun stuff for you guys, and I hope that translates. So yeah, so if you guys don't know where to find us, we're on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter at BananaLaser Show. We're on YouTube, BananaLaser Show. And always check us out at horrorphilia.com. And send us an email, bananalaser@gmail.com. And just let us know all your wants and desires, and how much you want to mouthfuck Dave and all that shit.
Yeah. And who would be a funny fucking head of the centipede, man?
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
And what they would say. I want more people in on this fucking little game I've created.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I
harassed this one guy at work. He's this big Chinese guy, and he fucking... I told him about the human centipede a year ago, and he's fun. He loves me, but he gets uptight with other people. But he loves me for whatever reason, and I fuck with him, and I talk about the human centipede. And he's like grossed out by the idea. So, but I bring it up to him all the time. I'm like, Z, we're gonna do a human centipede. We're gonna put him in the front, and like, get away from me with that human centipede. He actually thinks it's like disgusting to talk about. So I gotta fucking bust his balls,
Oh, of course. Ball buster.
I just can't help myself, man.
You son of a bitch. All right. So, before it gets too late, we're going to get the fuck out of here, guys. And so we will see you guys next time. Until then...
we're going to leave you with a thought to ponder. Why the fuck don't vampires turn into bats anymore?
Good one. Sounds good. Yeah, see you fuckers.
Laugh on what it was you dream of the wooden ones you dream. Master the loaded box PC.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at? You did it again, didn't you? You left bananas. What's wrong with you? Why do you do that? I told you not to do it.